Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? It's March 30th, 2013. Hail and Mary me tell you as I think we found the problem we were having with the sound system. It was just one of the sliders was turned down a little more than it should be. By the way, this is brought to you by Life. Learning is fundamentally essential. And today, of course, I want to remind you that tomorrow will be Easter Sunday, and there will be that answering of that question that I asked you a couple days ago, which is based from the movie Bruce Almighty. What if God had given you His powers and His abilities for a week? What would you change? What would you do? Given the fact that you are not allowed to mess around with free will, and you cannot force other people to choose you to follow you. I think about that a lot. It's one of those things that we talk a lot about, and sometimes when we talk about God, it's hard to forget that God is, of course, really aware of all the things that are going on in the world today. One of the things that bothers me, though, when I hear some of the Christians, is there's two groups of Christians. The first group is the evangelicals, and they say things like, we go by the Bible, we go specifically by what the Bible teaches us. Anything that is not written in the Holy Writ is not acceptable. And then we have what I call the interpretive Christians. The ones that say, well, the Bible doesn't cover every single thing. Sometimes we have to look at the real world and see how the Bible could help explain some of the actions that are going on around them. Both groups are right in their own ways and they're wrong in other ways. Now let's get involved with another group which has nothing to do with Christianity at all. The pagans. Now, there are many subgroups of pagans. I'm talking about the pagan mentality overall, not specific ones, because, as I said, there's just so many. It would be very difficult to point out one or the other, or which one's better or which one's worse. Number one, the first group of pagans says, we believe that all men and women are equal to all creatures of the earth, and that Mother and Father God sees us as a loving and important part of the whole system, the holistic approach. That is, everything is interconnected, and everything is blessed, and everything is beautiful. That's a little bit different than both the groups of Christians in the sense that in many cases the Christian groups are trying to say that God made man and man is better than everybody else. I'd like to ask a question to the Christians that say that. How can you say that? How can you say that? That man is better than the whales and the dolphins and the dogs and the cats? We're just equal to them. They are our brothers and sisters. The flora and the fauna are our brothers and sisters. We're not better than anyone else, or just equal to them. And somehow I just kind of get my head into a little bit of a wrap and say, this doesn't make any sense. How can you say that I'm better than a cat, or I'm better than a dog, or I'm better than another person even? We do this. We say that we are better than another person because we have, something that the other person doesn't have. Mother and Father God do not see us that way. They see us as equal, and that all creatures need to be willing to say, I am equal to my neighbor. My neighbor may have more money than me. He may have more responsibility than me. Or he may have less responsibility than me. It doesn't matter. We are equal in the eyes of Mother God and Father God. We all are part of a great cosmic universe. We're here to learn and to grow. Depending on the person's situation, they may have came here to learn with different circumstances than you, but that doesn't make them better or worse than you. Because Mother God and Father God loves you both equally. Tomorrow, for example, Christianity celebrates the birth, or should I say more precisely, the rebirth of the rising of Jesus of Nazareth from the grave. And one of the things that Jesus had always said is be good to your neighbors, be good to your enemies, treat them well, because because God's Father God and Mother God shine on the just and the unjust alike. And it doesn't matter. You should not judge another person, because if you do, you'll be judged by the same measure which you judge. That's great. But the point I'm trying to say is that so many people hold up the Christ paradigm and say, because I believe in God, I believe in the Son of Man, I am better than you. Where does it say in the scriptures that you're better than the man or the woman who choose not to follow the same view? It doesn't. There's a lot of Christian elitism in the world today, and it's getting to be overwhelming. Whereas for most pagan groups I've talked to, we don't even push our agenda. We believe that each person, whoever they may be, needs to find their own path to enlightenment, and that it's a personal journey, and that some people may choose to go a different way than another person. Some prefer having organized faith structures, such as, services like going to mass and going to confession, or going to church groups. Then that's wonderful. If that's what you feel you need, that's okay. Just likewise, we have in our groups our own workings, our own circles, our own celebration of the Sabbats and the Asbats, and we have a very different way of seeing the universe, but that's okay too. And then you get to the ninth levels, and actually sixth level up to the ninth, and actually beyond that. I'm in ninth, so I'm speaking this from, I'll be honest, I'm still learning. Okay, ninth level is not something that you just wake up one morning and, you're all of a sudden you are an earth steward. That's what a ninth level is. It's a ninth level consciousness, is being an earth steward. It's not that simple. And it takes a lot of preparation and a lot of thinking and a lot of meditation on the holy nature of the universe and the earth and all the things that are on it, all the creatures. To see how we are all come from the goddess. We all come from the God, and to all the goddess and the goddess we shall return like a drop of rain. We are not, anyone is no better than anyone else, but rather we are all equal. Just like my, Ed's cat, Fuzzball fame, which often joins me here in these videos. He's no better than me. He's not less important than me. He is my brother. He is my equal in the sense that he has the right to be on the earth just as much as I do. Mike, he doesn't judge me. He doesn't tell me that I'm not good enough for him. He just says, in his own way, snuggles up, lays on my chest, stretches out his little paws, and says in his own way, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a part of my life. And that's the kind of beauty that we all should be feeling every day in our lives. It is a time for us, so maybe it is time for us to do this. Maybe it is time for us to take off those glasses that blind us to the realities. We cannot make it without our brother and sister in the animal kingdom. We depend on them. We depend on the plants for food and for sustenance and for a gas exchange to turn our carbon dioxide that we expel and through photosynthesis turn it into oxygen that we inhale so that our cells can do the cellular metabolism. We all are interconnected together. That is absolutely true. There's no way else to say it than that. So the next time someone tells you that they think they're better than you, ask them to think about this. If you think that you can live, for example, without plants and without animals, and you see them as nothing but a nuisance, how are you going to live? You need them. You need them for food, but at the same time, you also need them for companionship. No man nor woman is an island. And that is still true no matter how many cats, how many dogs you kill. After a while, you start to feel like the Maytag repairman. Gets kind of lonely out there, doesn't it? You feel like you have nothing to live for. But as long as people are willing to keep in mind that Mother God and Father God gave each person on this earth a journey and the ability to transcend the limitations and to do better. And that each person may have their own way of looking at the universe. That's okay. But make sure that we don't try to say our way is better than everybody else and everybody else's way is wrong. Because that's not fair. Everybody has a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that is an inalienable right given by Almighty God and the Goddess. You have the right to worship God and the Goddess in the way that you are most comfortable doing. If you feel comfortable going into church and going to Mass and have the formal structure, that's good for you. But maybe it may not be good for everybody. Or maybe circumstances makes it harder for other people. But you keep believing in who the God and the Goddess is, and you do show the faith of the God and the Goddess. And you do the best to live a good life. Don't judge another person, but rather listen to that person. You might learn something new. So tomorrow we'll probably be doing it in the studio because I was already outside today. Is 11 degrees Celsius. I was out there today. And it's a little cold out there to set up a microphone and a camera. The grass is not green. There's still little patches of snow on the ground. It's really kind of, in between, the two seasons, and it still looks kind of sad. And I have to be honest with you, I feel kind of chilled because there's a wind out there too. And tomorrow it's supposed to rain, so I think we'll do it. Tomorrow we will be doing it here in the studio only because of that reason. Also, do not forget on April 3rd, 2013, from 7 to 9 p.m., the Rose B. Nader Circle will be having its meeting. Unfortunately, I lost the original notes on that. If you go back to my other videos, they'll tell you how to RSVP for that. I think the phone number is 860-738-3138. Again, that's 860-738-3138. And for RSVP, there will be free refreshments, and of course, you're welcome to attend this meeting about revitalizing our town of Winston. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi guys, it's me, it's MicheleMarieDalene, and Hail Mary be to all of you. And today, there's a long story to why the video I did not mention this morning in my vlog was posted. Let's just say that I think that the way I approached the topic was a bit more than unfair to Lucifer, and I wanted to redo it because this gets complicated because you see, in many ways Lucifer is our family. He's kind of like my uncle, so instead of going through and attacking him like an axe murderer, I'm going to look at the problem with a little more retrospect. Back in the beginning of time, when Mother Asna and Father Yahweh were coming up with the plans for this universe, which they created, because they wanted to have something of their own. Yahweh's brother Lucifer decided to go with the creation. The problem was they couldn't decide for the creation of life what kind of situation they wanted, because they saw apparently in other universes where the life that was created, it was all-knowing, all-powerful, but often was irresponsible. And Yahweh and Mother Asna said, you know, we want to try something different, because we don't really want people to go crazy and do stupid things. We want them to learn responsibility. And Lucifer said, I like it the way the other people created their universes. I like the way that they gave people their knowledge and power right away. And I think that was a better way to go, because that means that they would always be equal to us. And Yahweh said, no, bro. You see, I saw all the trouble that was started. I want to do something different with my people. I want to give them knowledge as they need it, so they can grow and mature and learn from their mistakes. Well, Lucifer says, well, you know, I don't really think that's a great idea, but why don't we try an experiment? Yahweh said, what kind of experiment? Well, look, I mean, you want to have me and my people sit there and act like humanity is nothing more than children. We don't want that. We want more than that. I mean, we want humanity to be equal to us. We want them to be like gods. And Yahweh said, whoa, okay, so you're saying you don't subscribe to my plan. Lucifer said, no, I do not subscribe to your plan. So Yahweh said, all right then, get your people together and find your own place. If you want to have a contest, we'll have a contest. And that's pretty much how it all started. And the third of the heavenly host, who had seen the results of other universes, said, I'm on Lucifer's side. They said, we're going with him. And so they left. That meant 2/3 of the heavenly host stayed with Mother Asna and Father Yahweh. When God created this earth, he intended that this planet was to remain fairly innocent, and was going to slowly give knowledge to the humanity as needed. There was no reason to rush with Adam and Eve. He didn't want to rush with Adam and Eve. He's like a loving dad. He wanted his children to have a chance to enjoy a childhood, so to speak. Whereas Lucifer wanted them to become adults from the moment they were created to the moment they died. Now, Yahweh kind of realized that the earth was going to become Lucifer's battleground, because at this point, this planet was created by Yahweh specifically for the purpose of his creation. Lucifer had already had his own little times and his own little universes and planets in this universe that he controlled, and well, he wanted to just basically steal the thunder from Yahweh, and so he did. So he seized the day. He encouraged Eve to eat of the forbidden fruit, saying, after she told him herself, she said, I was told, if we eat of the forbidden fruit of the tree in the garden, we will die. Lucifer, realizing the way Yahweh thinks, changed the words to say, no, you will not die. But he left out the little phrase in the end, eventually. So the great seed of knowledge and discontent and discord came into earth, and the people earth now had to actively choose between whose camp they were going to follow. I mean, let's be honest, the idea of pure knowledge and power is really tempting, and Lucifer had that on his side, but he doesn't give it away for free. Okay, because he wants you to be part of his camp. I mean, if you are going to become, like I said, from cradle being a sorceress to the grave, that means that you're not following Yahweh's plan. Now, me and Lumi are following Yahweh's plan. We have seen plenty of examples of people, even personal examples, who have chosen Lucifer's ways, with very unpleasant results. Some people couldn't handle the knowledge they were given and wanted to start raving mad. And others got so ahead of themselves, they started doing things that were not good, like excessive drink, excessive smoking, drugging, unacceptable sexual behaviors, whatever. Last night's video, I was, unfortunately, kind of doing more of a character assassination of Lucifer, and Mother said to me today, and I was at the soup kitchen, she said, Michelle, I don't think that's really fair. You're just as bad as those evangelicals if you do that. Why can't you at least give your uncle at least a little decency? Just because his idea doesn't work with you doesn't mean that he's necessarily, evil. Okay? You've always said to me, she said, that you always try to be impartial. Well, last night's diatribe was not impartial. It was brutal. And I said to her, as I'm slowly gulping down pretty bland shepherd's pie, yeah, okay. So what do you want me to do? She said, don't you think it would be fair if at least you give a little more balanced approach to what happened and why you feel the way you do? I mean, you always said to people that they should make up their own mind, which they're going to follow. Acting like evangelical sitting up there in a pulpit screaming at the congregation isn't exactly going to help. So let's try. Lucifer, as I said, wants everybody to have knowledge. But he also wants you to choose his camp. That is because the more souls he gets, it's like a score game. It's like a soccer game, okay? Or a hockey game. The more goals he gets, the more people that the higher his score is. Means who's going to choose the winning team in the end. At the time of Ragnarok or Armageddon. The problem is, every time those of us who choose to stay with Mother and Father God look at the scorecard, we see how much humanity has fallen from their innocence and lost everything. I think that's something that Milton even talked about in Paradise Lost. You gave up everything you had. It's like giving up your childhood. Honestly, I didn't have much of a childhood anyway. I sacrificed that at 13 because I fell into Lucifer's camp at one time. And oh, how I missed the fact that I never had a childhood. I mean, I saw so much of my home that was broken that I never even got a chance to enjoy anything. And then I chose voluntary to come home back to Mom and Dad. And I've been happy because now my life is finally reached a level of completeness where I'm finally at peace with myself and with my environments around me. Now, Lucifer wants me back, but I'm not interested because I saw the damage that his ways do to people's heart and soul. He realized that if because I so much wanted to be the Snow Queen and I so much wanted to be all-powerful sorceress, he offered me that on a silver platter. But you know what? It's just like the song, I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden. He's a sweet-talking guy. He tries to tell you to make you look like he's got all the plans in the world, but he doesn't. The sad truth is his way is not necessarily the best way because people have to grow up. People need that childhood. I sacrificed mine. Please don't do that. I never got a chance to enjoy the pleasures of having a normal teenage life. Spend more time in the library learning and studying and everything. I never had it. I never had a chance to be a socially acceptable child. I was always kind of like, always stuck in the library and studying to become the most powerful person that I thought I could be. That's how Lucifer worked. But then, in my senior year of high school, I ran into one of my aides in school, one of my teaching assistants that helped me with my classes, was a Jehovah's Witness. Kind of helped to bring me back into Mother and Father's camp because it was through his generosity and his kindness that I began to realize that everything that I was seeing around me was like looking at the world through distorted colored glasses. I couldn't tell the truth because the truth was just not there. It was just like with the original Snow Queen's mirror and the glass pieces falling into the eyes of the people and how the world had become twisted. Of course, it didn't help at the time with Reaganomics and everybody was talking about wealth and Wall Street and greed and making yourself bigger than you think you were better than everybody else. But, that kind of helped push me back to Mom and Father God. Yes, I did consider becoming a Jehovah's Witness. However, there was something about the Jehovah's Witness faith that I knew. Remember I told you about heart faith versus head faith? My head faith said, no, that sounds like it's a reasonable plan, but my heart faith says, they're not telling you everything. Look it up. Study it. You've been doing that all your life. You can keep studying some more. Find out the truth. Dig in there. So I did. I changed my mind. I didn't go into become a Jehovah's Witness. I decided to go with something I wanted to do as a child. It took me a couple years. At 23 years old, I became a Roman Catholic. I never finished my confirmation in my Lutheran church I was born into. So I took my confirmation at my RCIA and I became a full-fledged Catholic. A couple years later, I wanted to know more information. the Mormons knocked on my door. Now, I just like what the Jehovah's Witnesses. I listened to what they were saying. I thought they were talking pretty straight game, but somehow my heart said, this is not right either, Michele. They're leaving facts out. And on top of that, the Book of Mormon does not match everything that they're talking about, the doctrines and governments. They actually took the Book of Mormon and they removed certain of its tenets from the policies of the Mormon Church. You don't need that. You need the facts. You need the meat and potatoes. You're the kind of person that wants the truth and the whole truth and nothing but. And you don't want it watered down. Again, as I said, Lucifer was trying to find a way to get me to come back to him again. But I wasn't buying it. And then, about 2003, I was watching a movie on Hallmark Entertainment. And it was Hallmark Entertainment's version of the Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. And it was all that clicked together. That there was more to my life than just being a nerd. I had a lot more to do. I knew it. Back to the things of how I wish I could throw spells and make snowstorms. And this time, instead of going to Uncle Lucifer, I went and talked to Mom and Father God. I said, guys, could you help me here? I don't want to rush into Lucifer's way. He already destroyed my childhood. And Mom said to me, I will. And I will help you because I know it is your calling. And, of course, Mother Asna has your life chart. She knows it. This is Yahweh. Apparently, long before I came here, me and Lumi had planned to cohabitate this body together. In 2003, Mother said to me, in a few years, you will be that, and you will meet the ultimate person to fill that void in your life. Oh, of course, I thought it was maybe somebody else, a separate person, a completely separate warm body to lay next to at night. Well, it wasn't. It was Lumi. But what she also told me is that I'm going to teach you how to be the Snow Queen that you are. This is what Mother said to me. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen that instantly. You've seen how it happens when that happens. People don't always make the right choices because they don't understand the repercussions of their actions. And I said, okay, I got time. I don't have much to do here anymore anyway. I just want to sit around, watch TV, go to the soup kitchen, and read books. By about 2007, my eyes were starting to fail, and I couldn't read the books as well as I could anymore. Even so, Mother was there, helping me to continue my studies and to keep learning about who I am and what I am. A couple of months ago, around the beginning of September, I began to review a topic that I thought was mostly just going to be intellectual pursuit. Well, it wasn't so intellectual. It was, what's it like to be evil? Well, Mother allowed Lucifer to plant the seeds of evil in my heart. Kind of like what happens with Job. Not enough to cause significant damage, but enough to get you the idea of what you're dealing with. I never was so distressed and emotionally unprepared for what I was experiencing. So I really started to go downhill, and emotionally, physically. And finally I said to Mother, I said, could you please remove this? Please, I don't like what it's doing to me. And she said, sure. And so she removed, or she told that demon to leave. because she says, you served your duty for my daughter. I don't need you to stay here anymore. So she said to me, now you understand why so many evil people in the world are so desperate. I never experienced until that time such despair and coldness and fear. And I'm not a very fearful person. I was so depressed and so scared that I was going to fail. And I didn't want to fail. No wonder why the people who embrace Lucifer's camp feel so inadequate. Because they never been given a helping hand, a warm shoulder to cry on, a person to hug them and say, I love you. Because that's not the way Lucifer works. I mean, for some people, I guess that's okay. But I can tell you right now, I don't ever want to have to go through that again. I love you, my audience, because you are part of my group. And some of you have become even more than just a part of my viewing audience. You become a part of my extended family. I want you to know that I appreciate every single one of your comments, even the bad ones. I read them. And sometimes every now and then, I go back to the videos and reread them again. Because at least I know that I have people that care about me. It's quite a difference from the original Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, wasn't it? For the mirror supposedly twisted everything and turned everything ugly. And one of the things that I vowed to Mom is I want to change that story for the better. Winter does not have to be a time of evil and coldness and death. It's a time when we can finally find hope is in the air. As the new season gestates in the earth, and as the flowers are in the ground and their slumber and their bulbs and the seeds are waiting for the first warm sun to spring forth. Or like a mother waiting for the birth of her child. This is a time of great anticipation. The old earth have old seasons of autumn have died, but a new seed has been planted so that life can spring forth again. In Hans Christian Andersen's novel, the demon did not intend it to be that way. He wanted everything to be cold, cruel, dark, stark, scary. It doesn't have to be. And my life is because I want you to know that there is a hope and there's a future. It's not the end. If you study the way the Wiccans saw the year, extend the whole month's business. Because from Samhain, which is the death of the crone, to Yule, which is the gestation of the baby season that's about to come, the new earth that will spring forth after Ostara. This is the whole reason that I consider myself of watching the baby earth. This is why I love my job. We celebrate the birth in the Christian world of a king. I celebrate the birth of a new hope and a new earth. To me, it's one of the reasons I love Yule. Yule is not, as I said, it's not a time of darkness. It's a time of hope and anticipation of great things to come. So, as I said, because I do talk to Lucifer, I don't trust him. Because I've already experienced his negativity and his badness. I mean, in some cases, it's kind of like comparing cell phone providers, if you will. You got the big, powerful ones, AT&T and Verizon. Which one do you choose? Well, I'd rather not choose either one. I'd rather choose T-Mobile or even Sprint. But guess what? Out of the two big heavyweights, I am part of the camp of Yahweh and Mother Asna. And even the evil people are still the sons and daughters of Mother and Father God as well. It's just that sometimes they have lost track of that. It doesn't help any that so many times they're told that once you go into the work of Lucifer, that you can never come home. Jesus never said that. Because Mother and Father God love everybody equally. All you have to do is just say, please, could I come home? I'm sorry. And they would take you in their arms and give you comfort. And they'll forgive you for everything that you've done. The magic word is to say, I'm sorry. I didn't think it through. So you see, as I said, yesterday's message I was going to put up would have sounded too much like an evangelical, and I didn't like it very much, and Mother certainly did not like it either. She said to me, that's worse than character assassination. Please, Michele, have a little mercy on him. You may not like Uncle Lucifer, but he's not the worst monster in history. At least give him a little respect. Because he is your family. And I said, I'll do it. And she said, well, at the same time, why don't you just explain how you found out and why you feel the way you do? Be honest with your audience. They expect nothing less. Sure, a few of them might not believe you, but that's okay. If they don't believe you, at least maybe if they think about it some on their own, they might realize that you're speaking from your heart and that it makes you human. Don't become like the Snow Queen in Hans Christian Andersen's story, trying to make everything stark black and white, because there are grays in the world too. Now, in the next few weeks, we are going to be coming up to my season in about 10 to 11 days from now. I say 10 to 11 because of two reasons. Number one, it's going to take to render this video up on YouTube. And number two, by the time you get this, I don't know what the date it'll be uploaded to YouTube. So I'm going to give you absolute dates. In the Eastern time, we actually do our convocation on December 20th at 7 p.m., which is 00 hours, December 21st, Universal Coordinated Time. Mother and Father God decided to use Universal Coordinated Time because it's an agreed standard and it avoids a lot of questions about when each person's season starts. Now, I can tell you right now that I have been very thankful for Mother and Father's insistence that I take my education slowly. I am not an absolute sorceress. I don't have unlimited power. You could say in some ways I'm still under an apprenticeship because Mother and Father God give me the information I need as I go, not dumping it all on my... It's like when if you ever want to start learning something, right? You have two choices. A, you can go to the library and get every single book on the subject you want and come on with a huge stack of books and try to go through them all and get overwhelmed and confused, or you can start with a book at a time and learn a little bit from that book. Practice that, and then after you master those skills, learn some more from another book. That's the Mother and Father God's way. It's not quite accelerated. It's certainly not. It's more like taking an easy way. I got the time. Everybody does. We don't live just one time on Earth. We come back an infinite number of times as needed. That's one thing I wanted to also make sure I highlighted last night, which unfortunately that part of the video was quite good, but I figured might as well start over from scratch because some people may need that. You see, you have to remember, we are immortal. We do not die. Our souls live forever. I can't say the same thing for our flesh, but that's okay. Because remember, we come here to Earth to learn and grow in our lesson plan. It's part of our Akasha records, a life chart. There's so much things that we need to learn to become a completely well-rounded person that we can't learn it all in one life. Sometimes we have to take our time and study and learn the details. And if we don't get it right, that's okay. Because you can always come back again and take another course until you refine what you need to know. I've been here, this is my 33rd life. I've been here a long time. Because I love learning. And that's also how Lucifer originally used me as a pawn. But I'm still going to be kid. I'm still a brain, and I'm still a nerd, and I still enjoy studying. But now, at least, I can take my time and think of the things that I'm studying, and not feel like I have to rush through life with a blur. Okay, it's true. Our Earth times are short. We don't really, sure, thanks to modern science, we can live to be about, some people live to be 100, 110 years old. Most of us won't even do that. But we have an eternity. We can come back and study and learn. Some people just go real slow at it, and others rush into it, going from one book to the next. And that's okay. And the thing is that if you are part of Mother and Father God's camp, you know that you have a support network of spirit guides and principalities and thrones to help you to master your lessons. As far as I understand what Lucifer's camp, it's more like, here is a DIY book on these subjects. Now you study them on your own. You learn. And I'm not going to sit there and coddle you if you have a broken heart. I'm not going to help you. You're on your own, kid. Some people might like that, but I didn't. I hated that learning. I hated the isolation. I hated the valley of tears that I cried when I realized that I felt so lost that I didn't know what I was supposed to do. It's so nice when you do the equivalent of come home every day and someone says to you, how was your day, dear? There's some days that I just basically want to flop on the couch, grab the remote control, and just say, I don't want to talk about it right now. If you're in Lucifer's camp, you don't even have that privilege. Come home, there's no one there to greet you. There's no one there to say, I love you. It's a tragedy. But for some people, that's fine. But other people, not so much. Now, as a Snow Queen, one of the other things I've also decided to do, and it's also on my life chart, is I wanted to give some humanity to being a Snow Queen. It's so easy to be like the woman, in Hans Christian Andersen's original novel. It's so easy. But I actually kind of shed tears when I read that story. Because she's so alone. She has nothing. Now, this morning I mentioned briefly about the character in Once Upon a Time. I feel bad for that character. I really do. A talented person like that who misunderstood everything that was supposed to be, thinking her own sisters hated her. I didn't. When she got Gerda's letter, Ingrid realized that she had messed up. But you see, that's another thing too with Lucifer's camp. You mess up, you're on your own, kid. She thought the only way to deal with that loss was to kill herself. What's sad? It really is sad. A talent like that, and she could have easily used it for good, and yet the character never realized it until it was too late. Don't do that to yourselves. Please. For your sake, don't do that to yourselves. There is always going to be a way to work something out if you would just be willing to ask for help. And don't be too proud. If you have problems in your world, do not be afraid and be embarrassed saying, I need some help here. Maybe Lucifer's camp help is not given freely, but Mother and Father God will give it to you because they love you. And that is something I can promise you. I may be the North American Snow Queen, but I have a heart the size of Europe. I love every single person who is in my audience and then some. And I appreciate all the comments you have said. For the time being I also would like to reiterate something I said this morning, because I don't know if I'm going to put that video up or not. I might. It wasn't that great of a video. I had a problem with the camera that day, this morning. But so here it is. I need some assistance from you. These videos cost a lot of money to make, in the form of electricity and the supplies, from light bulbs to DVD media to DLT tapes backing up the media and everything. I really would appreciate if you could help with a little donation. I have so much further to go in my education, and by the time I'm done, I mean, I'll easily be much older than I am now. And I want to share my education with you, and I want to continue to have you be a part of my mission. And I want to have you by my side. At least, even if it's just through a video on YouTube and the cable channel. But I need help. I need financial assistance. The last electric bill was $100+ $20 more because of the lighting and everything else. And, of course, the associated costs of maintaining computers and internet connections and whatever else. It costs a lot of money. Yes, I still have my necklace. It just happens to be that it wasn't underneath my sweater. So if you guys could help me, by making a donation, it would really go far. We could use that money to buy new equipment, maybe buy some paint, the ability to maybe put some new floor tiles in my kitchen, Who knows? Maybe even money to get into a bigger apartment with a better place to work and where studio work. Maybe even a house for a basement where we can have our studio in the cellar. That'd be cool too. A place completely separate from my home living accommodations so that I can make sure to leave the cameras and the microphones and everything set up all the time. And I don't have to constantly reset up every time I want to do a video. You know how you can help? Simple. You can go to www.gofundme.com/BICHELA and make a donation. Or www.patreon.com/BICHELA. Or if you don't want to go to either one, or you want to go straight to a PayPal, it's simple. It's BICHELA3@gmail.com. It's for PayPal donation. If you'd rather mail a donation or gift or whatever, it's simple. It's the U.S. mail address is MicheleMarie, that's Michele Marie Dalene, DALENE, 112 Main Street, apartment number 9 in Winstead, WINSTD. The state is Connecticut, and the zip code is 06098. Anything you can give would be helpful. Anything. I'm not kidding when I say that word. Anything. I mean, if you have an old microphone and you don't know what to do with it, send it along. You got an old computer, you got an old TV set that kind of, maybe kind of works. Maybe you got some TVs, maybe some PAL televisions from Europe that can be rewired from American mains power or a step-up transformer. Send it along. Maybe you got a universal VCR that can record in PAL and NTSC. I'd love it. Considering I don't even have a VCR in the first place. I mean, the ability for anything you give, I will use it one way or the other. Microphones, I need more of these. Mixers, I'm going to probably need another one because it was something to have a spare. Cameras, even the camera I showed you, the PAL camera I have, I could use more of those. Anything you can do to help with my mission, I would appreciate. And also someday I'd like to try to have a get together. Try to find a place that we can all get together and hang out for a few hours. My audience is vast and is all over the world, and I don't know how we would do that, but I'd like to try somehow. But for now, that's the main thing I want you to know, is that I appreciate you watching, and I certainly do appreciate your comments. It makes me feel better. Now, I know a couple times this winter I said a few nasty. This one was going to be rough. It is possible it could be. Right now it hasn't been too bad because it's not winter yet, it's autumn. Maybe this year we might be lucky and just get off with a slap on the wrist, so to speak. I don't know. I have to look at the weather. I got to look at the things that we need. The systems of weather are complicated. We got to get the rain up in California. We got to get the rain up in the Southwest. That affects everybody. We can't grow food if you have no water. And it's hurting them. And so I try to find balance. That's something that the original Snow Queen didn't do, as far as we know. Because all she embraced was cold and darkness and didn't really think of the importance of trying to find harmony. Well, for the time being, as I said, I want to thank you for listening to this. And hopefully I will talk to you soon. So I want you all to know that I hope you have a safe and happy day. And that I hope you'll continue to watch my videos as I continue to share my life with you. Good and the bad. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody. guys. Hello, Mary me to all of you. Of course, today I try to adjust the exposure so I won't be so washed out. So let's, today's topic was originally asked for by Jonathan Ung, and it was on astral travel. And be honest when I say we're going to try to explain it as best we can. And we also will need to remind you of some concerns that you need to address for astral travel. First of all, I've been doing astral travel since I was very young, and I have lots of experience with it because it's something I've known how to do from the very beginning when I was a little girl, and I never really had to learn. It just was something I do naturally. Now, looking at the Wikipedia explanation of astral travel and astral projections, they're saying they're the same thing. No, they're not. Let me explain what the difference is, and then I think you'll understand. The way me and Lumi break astral travel down is as follows. We see astral travel as more like watching a television. Okay, that is, we are in the background. We're not actually there in the scene. We tend to, obviously, like she was mentioning about in Venice and eating fettuccine Alfredo, clearly if we were in an astral projection as a passive bystander, we would not have been able to eat fettuccine Alfredo. So that's where we have astral projection. Astral projection is where you interact with the astral plane. It's an out-of-body experience, or OBE, as it says in Wikipedia. But we see astral projection as a slightly more interactive position than astral travel. So whenever we refer to, we more or less really are talking about astral projection and not astral travel. Now, many people say there is no difference. If you ask me and Lemmy, there is a difference. Yeah, first of all, astral travel is, it takes a very disciplined mind to reach the proper state to get ready for it. You can't just jump right into it. This one took a while to do because we had to figure out how we could explain it without sounding a little bit either too eclectic or, to some people, too out in the fringe. So we're going to try to explain it from a simple level of what it is, and then we'll try to explain how you begin the process of reaching that state. It is a state of consciousness that requires a trance-like condition to be in the right state to have, so that your body can leave, or so your soul can leave your body. And it takes some people do it through various means. Michelle uses music. And of course, we do it naturally when we're sleeping. Yes. So now, what kind of music do you use? Is if you're going to use music, is very much a personal thing. Some people like to use instrumental meditation music. Some people like to use almost, just like sounds of like effects, like the sound of an ocean or the sound of birds. Michelle likes to use good old-fashioned rock and roll. It's funny. It's true. Michelle uses rock and roll. She grew up in the 80s. And so for her, 80s music, some of the music in the 80s is really, really very enlightening. So Michelle likes to use 80s music. We can't play it here on the radio, but, we'd love to. We're going to start talking about how we do it. Now, first of all, the most important thing we're going to talk about right now is some warnings. I got to give these to you just because it is important to give you at least the full things that you're going to have to deal with. Anytime you have an out-of-body experience, controlled or uncontrolled. Okay, we're talking about controlled here. If someone boinks you on the head and all of a sudden you're seeing, angels and things like that, well, that's definitely not arranged experience unless you ask that guy to bonk you on the head. But for astral travel, the most important thing is your body is basically is vacant for the most part. And so it means that they see the lights on, but nobody's home. So your demonics can come and invade your inner sanctum. And when they do that, of course, when your spirit returns, you find out that someone has changed a lot, and basically he's basically throwing you out. Yeah, and then of course, when the demons do that, they basically make you spiritually homeless. Yeah, and if you do manage to get back in, the demons will make your life a living hell, to the point where you can't even get anything done. You can't get things done. So you need to make sure to do the equivalent of set up your security system to keep you aware of that. Not only that, but also, of course, in routine things like the telephone, or if there's an answering machine or a doorbell. There is a cord that is attached to your body. Okay, your cord, it's actually two cords. Yeah, there's two cords. The first cord is the one that we say attaches to your body, because your body is yours for this time on earth, and it is entrusted to you. Okay, now it's connected. We used to mention by a cord, but it's not really a cord in the traditional sense of the word. But I guess if I'm going to use a cord example, why not? Okay, but it's easy enough to understand. I'm going to take this cord off the phone here. Here I have a phone cord. Okay. Okay, here's your soul. Here's your body. Except unlike a phone cord, I can stretch indefinitely. And when I'm done, something happens. You find yourself go right back in case of an emergency return. Very abrupt. You don't want to go there. What you want to do is always make sure, if you can, is especially for the first few times, is that you're going to want to gently get to know your system. And if someone, and you will snap back on occasion, okay? And if you do, it's really, really kind of a shocking first few times you do it. And you tend to get a little bit upset because it's emotionally alarming. So you've got to practice to handle the hard returns as well as the soft returns. Soft returns are the ideal ones. Those are the ones where you are basically going in and traveling, and it's like, yeah, okay. So clearly, for whatever means that travel is you need to learn to deal with those hard and soft returns. Okay, so when we talk about how you deal with the soft ones, the soft ones are basically is when you arrange to return. Okay, that means is that you start to visualize yourself in your body, and you begin to feel your existence reflow into your body, or more like you start to feel your body sensations, like your hands, your skin, you begin to feel you're returning to your home body. That's what we call a soft return. It's very nice, it's very smooth, and it's really the best way to return because it's not so jarring. But unfortunately, if you did not set a sentry or a PCU to remain on watch, so if a demonic just tried to grab your body, and you may find yourself totally separated from your body, potentially permanently. In other words, your body is now owned by somebody else who's basically bodyjacked you. Yeah. And that's not good. It really is hard to explain it because, like I said in many of my videos, trying to explain something that I do naturally is very difficult. Well, why don't we talk about how we do it if you're not listening to music? Because we can't play music because of the YouTube copyright contents rules. Well, there's some music playing in the background right now, Liam, but I think with our microphone, you're probably not going to hear too much of it on the microphone. So let's talk about how we would do it if I'm going to try to simulate going into into meditation, but I'm going to do my best not to actually go in, just so we can show you how it's done. First thing you need to do is you got to find a comfortable space. And if you can have someone to go and work with you, a professional would be best. If you can find somebody who knows how to do astral travel, such as a transcendental medium or something like that, that's be best of all. Somebody who can help you to reach that proper state and prepare yourself for the journey. The most important thing, as I said, is you got to be relaxed. The first thing you got to do is you got to let everything go. You just got to basically let your mind flow. Okay? Yes, my eyes are closed. I know that. It's because it's part of the meditation. Okay? So what you do is you want to basically just quietly take deep breaths. And when you do that, you cleanse the soul. Okay? In new air, out old air. Okay? And you start to feel like the top of my head starts to tingle. It's almost like a door of a launch bay opening up, and so the spirit is getting ready to take flight. Okay, and so you start to take flight, and so this is something that, like I said, people who've never done astral travel before freak out when they start to feel the top of the chakra here starting to tingle and sometimes feel itchy. Please do not panic, okay, if you feel this. It's okay. It just means that you're spiritual, you're reaching a higher energy field. And if you're not getting a sensation like that, then maybe you have not quite found the proper state for you. You gotta keep working on it till you reach the point where all of a sudden everything that you begin to lose all sensations of your physical existence. And also this is where Lumi comes in nice, because usually if I'm going astral travel, she's here, watching out for the bad guys. Okay, but if you happen to be doing it enough times, you begin to realize that there's a lot of things out there where there's a lot of people that are not very nice. The demons are out there to hurt you. Let's talk about the chakra flowering. I think that's related to a different stage of consciousness, but I think it certainly is important. Yes, because, like you said, you might feel like your scalp starting to tingle, and and if you really get really good at it, you will actually find that your hair starts to burn off your head. Really, Michele has done it. Michele has burned her hair off her head. That's why I had to for a while, had to stop doing astral travel, was to allow my head to begin to reheal the hair, so the hair could grow back. It's really high energy, and when you get to be in the 9th level of consciousness, you are more there than here, and it definitely makes it harder. I can explain. Some trying to explain some of the stuff is like trying to explain, like I said before in a explanation of trying to explain color to a man who's never seen color before. Maybe a person who's been blind since birth, and you say, oh, like I said, like this background's blue, right? There's all these stuffed animals, one's tan, and the couch is kind of a green, yellowish green color. You might go, I don't know, they're just words to me. So to explain this is very difficult. And this is where, again, you need to get to know somebody who can help you reach that state, somebody who can give you hands-on experience. Michele can help people physically reach that point, but to actually try to explain it on a video is very difficult, because it's just really not easy. So why don't we talk about briefly I know that you and I talked to Susan Girth about this, but I wanted to see if you could help me to explain what a demon can do when you're not there. Obviously, if they see the lights on, that the door's unlocked, so to speak, they're going to, because they're homeless, they're looking for places to reside, and they'll home invade, and they'll take your home, your body. And then when you return, because you forgot to lock your door, so to speak, you'll find a dark entity in your body that is not wanting to leave. Okay, and when you get to that point where you got a dark entity, even if you do manage to sneak in through the bathroom window, he's going to find you. And when he finds you, he's not going to be very pleasant about it. And that's where, again, you need to worry about things like exorcisms. Because, again, even if you have able to take control of some of the everyday functions like walking and talking, the demon is going to be able to do everything he can to make sure that you do not get control back. They also like to destroy the body. Yeah, they're like college frat boys. They party like there's no tomorrow. In fact, they'll destroy your body with all kinds of nasty things like drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, and wanton sex and whatever. And by the time you do get your body back, it's gonna look like a heroin junkie, possibly with needle tracks up and down your arms, tattoos in places you don't want them, and so it's best to make sure that you don't forget to spiritually lock your door, obviously. But that's, again, is a whole nother exercises to begin to understand how much of your body you got to leave behind and how much of your body you can take with you. I'm talking about your spirit, not so much your body. Your body's just a husk. It's not really. It's like this cup. Okay, this is your body. Okay, it holds the contents. In this case, this holds coffee, right? So in this case, if this is your body, it holds your spirit. If it holds your spirit, and your spirit leaves your body, just like if I pour this coffee into another cup or whatever, or if I pump it or dump it down my esophagus, after a while the body is empty, and that means that, as I said, a dark entity is going to see an empty husk, and then if there's no security system set, no kind of a warning to get you back, this is where, again, you have to accept the snapping of the cord. When I say the snapping of the cord is that it's an emergency return. So it's like, bam. You're going to have to learn how to deal with those hard knocks too, because clearly you don't want to try to return gradually. I mean, you want to if you can, but this is an emergency, like saying, MicheleMarieDalene, please return to your body stat. Means now, not 5 minutes from now. Okay? So you have to be ready to get back there really quick. And again, so learning how to cushion yourself and prepare for that sudden from there to here is an essential thing. Same thing if you're going to try to, be up on keeping things with the phone and the intercoms and all this other stuff. You need to be able to return, because obviously if the phone rings, they're not going to be sitting on the line. The ring is going to go ring, 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 ring while you're sitting there, taking 2 minutes to return. The caller on the other line isn't going to be patient enough to wait that long. Now, ideally, in that case, what you might want to do is set an answering machine up, but if you don't have one, well, maybe you could arrange to have someone, just like I said, in the physical realm, could arrange to answer the phone free, so you can focus on the travel and not have to worry about the mundane things like the phone and the other things. Well, guys, I hope that what little I gave you helps. I'm sorry I couldn't really come up with a better, concise answer. It's just that the whole topic is really more of a hands-on thing. Oh yes, please, by the way, I want to let you know that our rolling credits do not mention it. You can always look at us on our new YouTube page. So if you need to find us, it's easy enough. It's just our audio page is www.yourlisten.com Bichela. Yep. And of course, I don't have one yet, but again, I don't think my videos have really been doing that well. I think the problem is that I think people get a little confused between the two of us. Yeah, I think they do, and I think, like Susan Gerst said, is that there was a lot of some people kind of think that there's a demonic presence, and I really kind of it gets me upset because I don't like the term, because I'm not a demon. You're not a demon. No, you're not. You are absolutely positively anti-demon. You can be, because a demon would not be trying to help me to progress in my daily needs. They would do everything they can to destroy your daily needs. Yeah. Okay, guys. So don't forget, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please place them in the comments section below. And if you want to email me, my email address is bichela3@gmail.com. And let me, mine is LUMIFINISTRA@gmail.com. And she has her own YouTube page, which we had to create a tiny URL for because YouTube gave this long, funky hexadecimal code, which is hard to read. It's simply enough is www.tinyurl.com/WWW.LUMIFINISTRA, and that will bring you to Lumi's page, and check out her videos too. Please do comment and do subscribe to my channel as well. I really need you. I don't have the kind of viewership Michelle has, but if you are interested, please do let others know. And because we'd like to get both channels back into the well-being. By the way, related to something that Chris Perella was talking about really quickly, how he said that his viewership had declined. Chris Perella, please relax. It happens to all of us. It certainly happened to my channel enough times where some videos get a lot of attention and some just get nothing at all. And of course, I'm not trying to make money off my channel, so that is a big difference. Yes, it is. Okay, but just try to hang in there, okay, bud? It's all right. You're gonna do fine. You just got to. Maybe you need to change the way you do your channel. Come up with a new topic or a new, what they call a shtick. Okay? That's SHTICK, shtick. Because I think that maybe that's what your audience is looking for. I'm working on trying to find what works for me for a while now. 2+ years. And, so since 2011, I have basically done all kinds of videos, and some good, some bad, and it's okay if you don't get a lot of viewers on a single viewer, But if you get comments from people, or those who click like or don't like, then we can at least determine if there are things that we need to change. But a comment helps more because they can actually talk to us and let us know. And of course, if you really feel afraid to open your mouth in a public forum, you can always send me a private email too at bichela3@gmail.com. I will read it. I may not always reply, but I will at least read it. And if it definitely feel it warrants a reply, I will do so. Okay? So don't forget to like and share. We'll see you soon. Bye. Hi guys, how merry meet everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and yes, today is Monday. I slept in a little longer than I normally do, but I wanted to get some times to get some yay.
Hi guys, how merry
So
meet
when
everybody. It's
things working,
MicheleMarieDalene, and yes, today
it is working.
Monday. I
Okay.
slept in a little longer.
So let me turn the sound off on this so we don't get all confused here, and I'll open the live chat window just in case questions come up. Today we're going to talk about brains, or intelligence versus wisdom. And because Dory said something yesterday, I really feel it deserves a statement. She said to me, "I wish I was as smart as you." And I said, "Well, intelligence and smarts come with a price." And I never explained what that meant, so let me tell you what it means. The shortest, sweetest answer is when people admonish you and say, "You should know better," you can't really come back and say, "Well, I didn't." Because most people with Asperger's autism study the topic until to death, to the point where we know ahead of time what we're getting into. So I have to be honest and say, yeah, I do. Unfortunately, intelligent people cannot actually ham it up for the camera very well, because we know that what we're telling you is a bunch of horse hockey and malarkey, and they trust me, and people know it too. They can tell on you are trying to ham it up for the camera because it's so obvious it's contrived and fake. It's true. You know, you can't deny that. It's just the truth. The next thing too about intelligent people is, why don't people like us very much? Well, the people don't usually like us very much because they think we're a bunch of smart asses. And the sad truth is we don't try to be smart ass at all. We try to be very honest with each other and ourselves. But because we study knowledge and we have wisdom. Remember, I gotta explain the difference between knowledge and wisdom, because there's a difference. Knowledge is like what you study in school, like I say in U.S. history class. Okay, you learn about the American Revolution, the American Civil War, John F. Kennedy's assassination, World War I, World War II, the different presidents, the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and so on and so forth. Well, that's great. That's knowledge. Okay. It's like knowing all the people that have been in Survivor on CBS, and knowing the episode names, the titles. Same thing for Star Trek and Star Wars fans. I know you guys know your stuff because you guys study it to the point where you swear to God that Star Trek and Star Wars fans know every episode, every character, every story, every thing about the characters, and it's absolutely true. But that's knowledge. Knowledge won't help you out of a paper. Won't even help you out of a paper bag. Now comes wisdom. And wisdom is something that is usually built upon over many years' time. When you start with wisdom, you may have knowledge of what is supposed to be, but you have to also decide if you want to do a certain thing a certain way based on the possible results, based on what you've studied and learned. So wisdom is taking the knowledge you've used and have applied it to a situation. Usually the older people, we always look up to them as the wise ones. It's true that a lot of them do get senile dementia and Alzheimer's after a while, and there's a couple reasons why that is, besides the fact that it's predisposed in their families. I know my family Alzheimer's does run around a little bit. But we also know that through modern medical resources that Alzheimer's can be minimized through modern medicine and modern memory training techniques. And I should explain that in another video because that's a great topic. But in this case, we're talking about, let's say you don't have Alzheimer's and senile dementia, and you happen to be an older person, say. Now remember, we're talking about older people. Well, let's go back to look at the history, what older meant. Majority of the people but in the Victorian area were probably dead by 70. Okay? in the Middle Ages, it was even shorter life, a lot shorter. Average person was dead by 40 or 50 years old. If you lived to be that age, geez, you're considered a geezer. But of course today we got centenarians running around that are 100 plus years old, and a lot of them are doing very well. Not all of them, unfortunately, but a lot of them are doing very well. So we should look up to those people who have been around us before us, who've been through life's many twists and turns, because they have the knowledge, but they also have the wisdom to decide when a certain action should be done based on their experiences. Wisdom is built upon experience. It's not just just having the smarts. It's taking the smarts and using them when you need to. It's kind of like the sound from the gambler. You need to know when to hold them. You need to know when to fold them. You need to know when to walk away, and you need to know when to run. Okay, it's the same thing when you grow up with wisdom. You got experiences behind you, so you can tell you when it's time to hold them, fold them, walk away, or run. It's just the way it is. It's hard to believe that here is a 49-year-old person with 32 prior lives under her belt telling you the facts, especially for the younger millennials. This applies to you. You will grow and learn wisdom, okay? And you will learn new things. And when you start hearing that expression, I remember when, as much as I do, then you know you've reached that age of maturity. Because I hate that expression. I remember when blank was blank. I remember when the Commodore 64 was the top selling computer in the world. I remember when the 1541 disk drive sounded like a jackhammer when it was trying to seek to track 0. I remember all the times that disk drives would have to be realigned. I remember when, all this stuff. It's a lot to remember, but it was true. We did do that. We did remember those times. But I also am part of a new age too. And this is something I want to tell to our seniors out there as well. Never stop learning. Never stop taking your knowledge and applying it to the real world around you. If you want to keep your mind sharp, you got to keep studying. Keep learning. Stick your nose in the grindstone. Please wear your safety glasses when you do that, but okay. Although I don't know how you get your nose in the grindstone with your safety glasses on, but the point here is make sure to keep your mind open to new things and new skills. Don't be afraid if it's because you make mistakes in life that you're going to never be good at something. There's a lot of people who have a lot of skills, and sometimes they're skills that they're latent skills. They're not skills that they actually know they have. And then they do something unique, and all of a sudden they find out they're extremely good at it. I can come up with a couple of examples. For example, Dory's doing the beads, or jewelry beads, and she's doing very good with the beads. For me, it's a very finicky process. I wouldn't have the patience to do the beads, but then I work with electronics, and I solder tiny PC boards and things like that, which most people would say is, for a legally blind person, that is unbelievably unusual to see that someone like me could get down there. Unfortunately, burn my hair off in the process with the soldering iron. That's one of the costs. But still, you learn new things, and that's the whole point. Maybe you might find out, for example, that you have a talent, as I said, that you didn't even know. Let's say, for example, buy a violin, and the next thing you know it, within the third week, you're playing very good songs. I mean, well beyond what you would expect for a third week practicer, a home student playing the violin. The next thing you know, you start, within the first year, you start playing some music by Vivaldi and Puccini and all the other guys. I mean, simple pieces of Verdi. Oh, holy cow! I mean, that could happen. You never know. And that's the way now. Shit, that's the way skills are. You may find out that you're fantastic playing the drums, or you might be great handling stressful environments, like multitasking between telephone, the keyboard, and the computer, and you know, receiving guests. Say, for example, as an office receptionist, you could be fantastic at that, and you may never have any experience doing it. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. These are the kind of amazing things that people do every day. And some people do them and don't even really think they're a big deal. Maybe, for example, because you have a strong constitution, you might be great as a trash remover or a septic tank pumper, because maybe the smell of waste doesn't really make you sick too much. Or maybe you're highly skilled at washing laundry by hand. These are talents, and people do have talents. Even the most dim-witted people have talents. It's just a matter of sometimes is that they need to be willing to explore those talents. And I try to help people to learn new things. And Quick Story tried to learn to cook with wood, and she was a fiasco. But I think that maybe if she practices some more, maybe she could finally master it. It is a skill. It is a skill. It's not... I just got done cleaning the colossal mess. She had way too much vegetable oil in the grill. It looked like the Exxon Valdez in there. Like, wow. I mean, the thing was overflowing oil onto everything. If I'm lucky, I think my lucky stars that I squelched that fire before she even tried to restart it. Because if that thing actually had caught that grill, we would have had a major conflagration. A good old conflagration, which nobody would have liked. So, but again, that's why I was there, was because I kind of knew that, and she gets a little bit upset about it because she feels like she feels really bad. But that's okay. You learn. It's a skill. Practice, 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 and you will master it. It just takes time. But then I gotta have problems too. Let's talk about some of mine. Okay, why don't we talk about yours? My hearing sucks. No shit. Michelle's hearing may suck, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't like doing things with her other senses, mostly her eyes and her fingers. With the cataract in her right eye, she uses her fingers in her left eye to do almost everything. I touch. She's very touchy-feely, because that's how she sees. That's how I see. Because I have hearing loss, and because of that reason, I don't do well with loud, noisy environments. I tend to do better when I'm in an environment when I'm quiet, relaxed, and CCC, calm, cool, collected. And when I'm calm, cool, collected, then I can focus on the job at hand and do a good job. But if I try to rush into something like bowl in a china shop, the only thing that happens is a lot of broken plates. That's no lie. That's just a fact. So let me share this video out to some of the people on my channel list. That's one, yeah. I'm going to share out this video because I forgot to start sharing it. And yes, we are taking some questions today. So if you do want to join us for the short chat, okay, on post day, and I see another share. Let me share this in Twitter, and is that tweet? No, that's that's not right. I did that wrong. Oops. Okay, so let me go to Twitter. No, I don't want a direct message. Oh my God, you're terrible. See, I'm not perfect. No, she's not. Okay, so I want to tweet that. Okay, so I want to hit tweet and share it one more place. Let's share it with Google Plus and get this out the door and post that there. So now we're back there. So yes, we are going to take some questions today because why the hell not? I'm sure you guys have got a lot to say. I know that a lot of the people that were watching my videos last night were like, wow, hey, you do a good job at what you do. Yes, I do. I want to show you some of the comments I got. I'm gonna go back to that screen. So, let's see here. Here we go. I'm gonna show you a couple of comments that I got, and let's see. This is a little different than my iOS version. So here we go. The latest one says, this is from Late Night with Michelle. Let's try again, shall we? He says, Kiwi Brian says, I just want to say, Michelle, I've been following your channel for about a year or so, and I have to admit, human beings like you fascinate me, also humbles me. Keep doing MicheleMarieDalene. Well, and I said, I am just being myself, which is true. He also said, Michelle, aren't you clever? With all your expert knowledge about barbecuing food or cooking with fire, why didn't you cook dinner? It would have taken a lot of pressure off of Dory. By the way, you have nothing to apologize for. I says, I am next time. Okay? And Eric Green said, I'm just going to read some of these comments. Tip, you got to start up with a small tinder first, then get the fire going, and then keep it steadily, gradually increasing the amount of burning material by adding a bit at a time, wood, coal, etc. While cooking, it takes a bit of, and yes, it does, practice, okay? And I said, that's right, and since it is a cook fire, you want to keep it small so things don't get burnt to a crisp. So yes, I am really honestly excited to know that people did like the live stream tonight. So let's go back to the questions. Turn this thing back on here so I can hear it. Yeah. So we're no live chat, but that's okay. You guys are always on my mind. And so I always wondered how when you do fast forward to this. By the way, sorry about the background noise. Someone's doing something in the backyard, so you can still hear me at this point. So like I said, one thing about skills is you need to learn them, but you got to keep your mind open and not be afraid to try new things, because that's how you sharpen your mind. Please understand that when you get older, you only have so many brain cells in your body, and after a period of time, some of them will die off because of age. But to help keep things good and sharp, you do want to be easy on medications in both prescription and over-the-counter and illicit drugs as well. So don't go too crazy with alcohol, tobacco. In fact, we can talk about that. That's a whole nother area. Is the legalization of marijuana. I am for the legalization of marijuana because we already demonstrated that marijuana has medicinal value, and it's good. It's good for pain relief. I know that from personal experience, from being in a room full of marijuana smoke with my foot, it hurt less, and it helps my eyes. But I can't afford to buy this stuff, but that's okay. When someone else is smoking a joint, I get the secondhand benefits of it. So, after all, recycle, reuse, right? So why not take advantage of the secondhand smoke, get the THC into your lungs, and then have it go through and ease your eye pain or your leg pain or your emotional pain or whatever. So Donald Trump, I don't think is too happy deep down with Jeff Sessions and his holy war on marijuana. He does like Jeff Sessions for most everything, but the marijuana thing, he much rather leave it to the states to decide what to do with marijuana. And I agree with him. It definitely should be a state issue, and not federal government should just not get involved in everybody's personal issues of what they choose to use. But you know, wisdom kicks in again, because wisdom says somebody's going to say the opposite and says that, well, the state should have to give up the rights to legalize marijuana for medicinal or recreational use. Because I know that from personal experience, and that's what happens, and it's sad. However, researchers who are getting independent funding have been testing out the potential uses for marijuana and have found that indeed it does help for people with pain. Instead of using opiates, such as Vicodin and other opiates, prescription ones or non-prescription, to deal with pain management, which is a great thing. It keeps the human body, it's easier in the flesh, there's less withdrawal symptoms, and that's a great thing. So, but anyway, that's one thing Donald Trump also does have going for him. He does have wisdom. He's because he's 70 plus years old, 71 years old. He knows enough of what's going on in the world. He's been in the world a long time. He's seen enough of the world, the good, the bad, the ugly, to know what is and is not to be. And so, because he's an older man and he has been in the real world and he's seen the real world, unlike some career politicians that have no real world understanding at all of what's going on. But that's a whole nother video. So anyway, all the knowledge you get, what can you do with it? You build on it. But you also learn to when to apply it. It's just like the song from The Gambler. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Okay? It's what the chorus of the song says. Now, the second part, the last part of the chorus really doesn't fit this example, but if you want to throw it in, I will. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Okay, so I will leave that part of this chorus up for you to figure out how it ties in with this video. Okay? And here it is. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There will be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Now, if you can come up with how that ties in with this video, leave it in the comments section below, and I would love to read your response to that question. And I do thank Kenny Rogers for making The Gambler the movie, and of course the song, and it's a really fantastic piece of music. He has a lot of good music too under his belt. People ask me some people wonder who are my favorite singers. I like Freddie Fender. People didn't know that, but I do like Freddie Fender, especially his song Wasted Days, Wasted Nights. It's like me, Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. Go MP3 it. Or if you got the original 8-track, go get the 8-track or cassette out and listen to it. I think you'll enjoy it. And of course, I love his songs when he does the English-Spanish crossovers. They're fun too. Especially in just go ahead and look at his, some of his music. The Green Green Grass at Home. I really don't remember that song too well, but that's another good song. I do know. Alright. So, I hope that you enjoyed this chat. I hope you enjoyed this chance to finally look at what I got to say when I'm in a halfway decent mood. Obviously, I changed my top because the other top was so full of cleaning the grill. It was a real mess. Oh, that's my brown with wood. Yeah, it gets messy. So we cleaned the grill, and I got that ready for next time. But for now, I want to thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a nice day. Stay out of trouble. And you know what? Like I said, don't forget one thing when you get a lot of wisdom. It's a real shame when someone says to you and admonishes you, said you should know better, And you can't say, no, I didn't. Because you do. And you know you do. And then you feel like your first with egg on your face. And you go, oh, why did I do that? And I know I was stupid. That's the problem with wisdom. Just like I said, you can't ham it up on the camera. You can't. How can you ham it up on the camera? You can't. It's very hard to do. But, alright guys. That's it for now. See you soon. Bye-bye. Good afternoon, everybody. It is May 19th, 2013. Hail Mary, me, tell you. Today has been retake day. Yeah. We've been having to redo videos like not once, not twice, not sometimes as many as 4 times. Like this morning one, it took us a while to redo the introductory blog for the day, and then we got that done. And then I did the video for the Ghost Detect Pro program, and that went fairly well because there really wasn't any video. It was just basically just taking snapshots and just doing an audio monologue on the video, which came out pretty good. This video, this is the 3rd try. The first time I did it on Emac, the Emac shut off on me again without the screensaver being active. Yeah. Second time, I moved the software and the hardware over to the PowerMac G5, and I didn't get settings right, and so the picture kind of got underexposed, and it looked really bad. So I decided to redo it again. This is the 3rd time. Hopefully, this time you will see a good quality picture. We were going to talk about negative entities and positive entities. That's what we're going to do. It's called negative entities, positive entities, redo. And the reason why we're redoing it is because when we originally discussed it, we did not know as much about what we do now. So that's what we're going to talk about. First of all, there's been a lot of people who have actually asked and have been fascinated by ghosts for many centuries. In fact, lately, excuse me, on the American television, there is a tremendous number of shows, both on television and, of course, being produced and being released through other non-traditional media outlets, including shows like Ghost Hunters America, International Ghost Hunters, and a few others, Ghost Finders, whatever. What is most obviously noticeable about all these programs is that there's always, you see these guys and gals walking around with this fancy equipment, and sometimes you may wonder if that stuff really exists, and I can tell you right now, it does exist. It is available. You can buy it. In fact, I would say honestly, right up front, you could probably buy an inexpensive starter set. I said starter set, didn't say top of the line here. You could probably get a kit for about $99 US if you're so interested. Yep. But today we're going to talk about the ghosts themselves, because there's always been a lot of misunderstandings, and we're going to specifically break it into 2 categories within each subdivision. The 2 main categories are the light and the dark, and the 2 subdivisions of each category is non-human and human. And when I say mean human and non-human, we're talking about the human type ghosts. We also include our animal ghosts too, as well, in the human category. In other words, these are creatures that have lived on Earth, that have had fleshy bodies. Okay, so let's start with the dark side, and then we'll deal with the light, because the dark side is probably the most popular one. The non-fleshy bodied ghosts. These are specters, if you will. These are not, they never had human bodies, they never been on Earth, and they frankly don't like you. These are demonics. These are the demons. And their purpose in life is to kill you. They don't want you around. Okay? They want your body, but they don't want you in it. That's what I'm saying. So, they will use whatever it takes to get you out of the way. Scaring the hell out of you is certainly one way they'll do it. You can tell the presence of these type entities because usually surrounding them is a sense of smell burning sulfur, or maybe even a smell of rotting flesh, or a growl that's just unearthly. Okay? And they are not human, so they've never been here as human beings. And these creatures are supernatural. They are extremely powerful and extremely dangerous. These are rare. You don't see them much. Thank God. Thank God, indeed. Unfortunately, if you do happen to run into one of these entities and it's in your home, get your act together and get a professional team in there who has the probability to exorcise these entities out of your home. Do not attempt to do it yourself. Okay? Because think about what happened with the Amityville Horror House, which was also possessed by a demonic entity. It's very serious. Okay? The second group of these entities, the next division, is ghosts that were humans, beings, and also could include our pets as well, or other animals. Okay, they don't have to be even humans at all. These ghosts live the life on Earth, so they have an understanding of Earth and what Earth is. But they just like to torment everybody. These are like the bullies. These are not really friendly ghosts. They're just troublemakers. I guess to understand what these are is these can they like to move things around. They might like to make your light flicker. You might sometimes see you might start having bad dreams. You might see shadows walking, lurking around your house at the corner of your eye. These are the kind of guys they just trying to just get under your skin. They're not able to kill you. They're just there to torment you. I did not mention briefly about the demons from it, and I should point this out. Demons can also inflict physical harm on you. These entities cannot. Okay? So these guys you can kind of deal with. One of the ways to deal with them is to burn sage, which and also do other kinds of active smudgings to get them out of your home. Calling upon the next set of ghosts and the next set of spirits may help, but these guys basically are just a pain in your backside. They're not really gonna do any harm. They just make your life miserable, that's all. The next set of guys is our friends, the light side. Now these we have two distinct groups. The first group are the angels. Mother God and Father God fall in here too, just as also Satan can fall into the dark side. Okay, so I didn't mention Satan, but he does indeed have a option to be a presence in the dark, serving his dark forces. Also, your guardian angels in here, as is your principalities and the thrones. These are the ones that protect you, keep you safe, love you. They want to see you go ahead and succeed and do wonderful things and to grow. Also, these are the kind of people that want to go out to make sure you're safe. They're the ones who may provide, for example, a sense of comfort and happiness in your home. You can always tell if they're there because they make you feel good. Then likewise we have the division of good entities that were at one time earthly presences. In other words, they lived on Earth, had lives on Earth, which include pets. You can always tell who they are. They may be the spirit of your loved one, like your spouse or your father, or even your pet. You can tell their entities and their energies because they provide comfort. I'll be honest, I actually ran into the spirit of Fluffy, and well, I don't really want to go into too much detail on this, but let me just say is that these are these entities are trying to provide you with comfort, and so that's a good thing. That's what they're supposed to be doing, but sometimes it hurts to think about the fact is that we have to wait to go home to see them again, and they're because now they're just an energy vortex. We can't really feel. It doesn't feel quite the same. But it's good to know that if you realize that you're a spirit of your pet, for example, it might be you feel their presence. You might even hear them. Like a cat, you might hear a cat meow or feel a ball purling next to you in the bed, or you might maybe you smell your father's aftershave. These are ways that they can send comfortable vibes to you to let you know that you're safe. So these are the kind of ghosts that you want to have here. And they can visit you, and they can also they just come in and they go out. They are safely on the other side, but they like to drop by and say hi. Okay, this is why we have we do the ceremony of Samhain. By the way, is because we try to give respect to those of the past who have left us, but we will see them again. Because the veil between here and the other side during the time of Samhain is at its thinnest. Very special, very wonderful time. But sometimes it still makes me feel kind of melancholy, and I'm sorry about that. The other thing is I don't know if burning sage to get rid of the dark entities may accidentally, kill the good entities in friendly fire. I wouldn't say kill because they can't be killed. Repelled. I don't want to repel the good spirits because they're there to help you and to keep you safe. So, but they are definitely a wonderful thing. Now, one of the things is because as I said, all these ghost, hunting shows, is, you might want to say is, gee, I really, really would like to, know if there's any ghosts in my home. Well, sometimes ghosts are, especially if you're in a building as old as mine, you will know you have ghosts because if you have any kind of psychic ability, you're going to pick it up. They are the negative entities. Sometimes are the most powerful to feel because they're so alien to your mindset. The positive entities, you may not feel them right away unless you've really, really been keeping your abilities at tip-top condition. But if you are really seriously want to know if they're out there, they are, and they will do whatever they can to protect you. Okay, so now that brings a good question. What do these look like? Well, the most popular thing in fashion right now is called the orbs. Now, the orbs, I don't know why they have become so popular, but it may not be ghosts at all. Orbs may very well be pan-dimensional beings from different dimensions and or different planets in this dimension. So therefore, I will not put the orbs in the spirit realm, okay? Because I don't think they are in that league. Ghosts can also appear, like for example, the dark entities usually appear in black. These guys are like shadow people, and as well as vapors that are black. I mean, they are so black that they occlude everything. I mean, you can't behind it. Okay, it's not just like a light mist. It can also be a black mist too, gray or black mist. The white entities can be. Also, I forgot to say, it can also have the presence of a human being as well. If you see a full, complete human-like ghost, it's rare, but they do come into being once in a great while. You'll see that these people are dressed usually in the period clothing of which they died in, or, you know, they usually tend to be very, very striking, very noticeable, but it takes a lot of energy to materialize like this. So a ghost, if they're going to go through this much energy, is really trying to reach out to you. So at least be aware of that. On the light entities, you can do the same thing. You could have, they don't usually have any shadow people on the light entity side, but that's about the only one that you don't see. Fully present type of image is sometimes used, but again, it's rare because it takes a lot of energy to do this. You might be a feeling more than anything. You might see a wispy type of or fog type image. This is very common. Also, both kinds of ghosts can use sounds to in smells. And then there's something called residual, which isn't even a ghost at all. It's just like people have things in their homes that have been around for a long time. Like this apartment is full of residuals. This is a residual. Basically, is that there's so much energy that's been in this apartment that the material has absorbed it, and therefore you might sometimes see people walking around. They don't even recognize you. It's like watching a videotape. You can walk right through them. They're not even really. They don't even know you exist. Whereas the other type of ghosts do, and you can talk to them and interact with them. So residuals really just like watching a videotape. They're not really, or a movie. They're not going to really be able to interact with you. Could very well be very useful for for learning about something, but they're not going to be, much use, much more than that. Yeah. Okay. Now, there's a lot of, like I said before, there's a lot of free software on the iPhone for detecting ghosts and spirits. For the most part, the software is just basically junk. Okay, it doesn't really necessarily work. The reason why it doesn't really work is because number one, it's not calibrated to any kind of particular standards. Second of all, it is not been tested for authenticity in a laboratory, so therefore you have no idea what the software really is doing. It's just basically flashes lights and makes meters move, and Ghost Detect Pro even tries to take snapshots of supposedly the paranormal. But again, there's some question about the authenticity of these pictures. So you got it for free. Don't expect it to be giving you the same kind of quality as a $500 setup is going to get you. It's not going to happen. Okay. So that's the reason why. I mean, you gotta go more by your gut instinct than anything. If you think you've really got a serious ghost problem, or possibly a demonic problem, walk over to the phone, pick it up, and call your local professionals, ghost hunters. If you think you've definitely got a demonic entity in your home, again, call them or call your local parish priest, because you cannot deal with a demon on your own without the proper training, because they can kill you, and they will kill you, because that's what they're out to do. They don't have any other desire It's the most important thing in their lives is to destroy you. And yes, they do work with the dark bullies, if you will, with the goons, which may be just like just like school bullies. Sure, the guy that goes takes your lunch money, for example. That's what a regular dark human entity can be. Is that they work with the demonic forces. They can work together. Same like with the light forces can work together as well. They can cooperate. You know, they go see your pets. Definitely, and of course, to go see your loved ones. To work together with Mother and Father God, and of course the principalities and the thrones, and your spirit guide. All of these forces are definitely part of the Justice League, if you will, of the spirit world. That's what they're there for. They keep you safe. Let me ask you about animal spirits. What is it about the pets? It seems like we don't really hear much about pet ghosts. Why is that? Because I think the problem is that too many, especially in some Christian doctrine, we're told that our pets have no souls. That's not true. That's not true. They certainly do have souls. But unlike us, their souls are perfect. They have no sins. They have no natural sin. They don't have to be here. They just come here because they want to be here. And their feelings of compassion and love, for example, are genuine. They have nothing to learn by being here, but they love us enough that they want to be here. Incidentally, the same thing with animal souls that are negative entities. There are certainly animals that are not good. The dog, for example, that's a ferocious, mean dog. But here we get into an interesting question. The animal souls, if they truly are perfectly divine, is there any animal spirit that's really negative? Because I don't really think so, because a negative entity would be mean that animal has made a choice not to follow the will of God and the goddess, and that would mean that they chose to do evil, which means that they have free will, which they do, but they are perfect. Then why would they want to do evil? For example, the Doberman Pinscher that goes out there and bites a child is executed for his capital offense. I mean, is he evil, or was he trying? It was a reason when he bit a child. That's a kind of question that we need to ask, but that's a whole nother story. So clearly, I mean, there's probably more than likely a possibility that negative entity animal spirits may be rare, but they may exist. But like you said before, the thing is that most sense ghosts can use is they can use things like to help us to let them know that they're present. Usually, for example, like your father may use his aftershave smell. You may smell his aftershave. And Fluffy, for example, you may hear a meow, and you have a few times, and your heart gets heavy. Yes, it is now, every time I mention that. So, again, these reminders are not out there to cause you pain, but they are there to let you know that they're safe and that you're safe. But it makes you miss them even more so, because if you think about everything it reminds us that we have to stay here until our time of there is through, when our chores are done. And then we can go home and we can see our friends and loved ones again. But yet, no matter what you do, these, you know, that's what they're here to do, is provide comfort. Sometimes it causes pain too, but not on purpose. But it just reminds us how much we miss them, you know. And so I think that, to be honest with you, I think that it also reminds us that indeed there is a life after death, and that we will one day, you know, be there too. Let me ask you a question though. Well, since we've already kind of gone over anyway, what about dark entities versus light entities? Okay. How does one become a dark entity? By willingly rejecting the good that Mother and Father God have provided. There's just some people who just think that it's too saccharine and they can't believe that there is such a divine and powerful love. And so they start to think that that's all too sugar coated, too saccharine. So they choose to go their own will by disobedience, and that's the beginning of the fall and towards the dark. It starts out, it starts as, simple acts, and then after a while, it's just like a pair of socks. It just starts to get really dirty. Now, after a while, after many times on Earth, your spirit guides no longer are going to be with you anymore, because it's just not. It's not that we don't want to be, for example. It's just that why should we be wasting our time trying to encourage people to change when you're not going to change? You've already chosen to be dark entities, and so there's no point of wasting our time. Well, they are overseers, but these are not what I call one of the people I want to have in my life. These are demons and negative entities that watch to make sure that you're doing evil and doing wrong. In fact, the demons can utilize the dark-souled people to do evil. Whereas the white-souled people will choose to do good things. And we all acknowledge that we have a free will, but we want to continue to show the love of Mother and Father God, and sharing it with our brothers and sisters on Earth and on the other side. So that's where you can tell between the darks and the lights. Now, people actually wonder this a lot: if a dark-souled person can become a light-souled. I don't see why they couldn't, but the point is that I think that most of them will not do it because they actually gotten too much to like the dark's life, so they won't choose to go there. The light-souled ones who have had a taste of the dark, unless they've really been corrupted, they're going to choose to want to come back home to the light side, because once they taste the dark, it's not that great, and they tend to say, I didn't really like what I'm feeling, I don't like what I see. So, but they can be just as misled just like everybody else is, and so, if you know what I'm saying. I think I do, yeah. So, what should a person do if they were were light soul and somehow got a taste of the dark soul and they want to go back to being a light soul. They need to pray for the guidance of Mother and Father God and to ask that their protection will be bestowed upon them. They have to be willing to say, guys, I really need help here. Because I'm really totally lost, confused. Because you have to remember, a dark-souled entity does not choose the life that they're going to live. It's chosen for them by the overseers. And then they go from grave to cradle. And there's no in-between where they can choose to come home and talk to their friends. Because there is no home. The home is close to them. Like Sylvia Brown says, you go through the left door and that's it. You come, it's like your boomerang. Because darkness cannot enter the kingdom of Mother and Father God. They cannot see the other side, which is perfect. And because it's perfect, it has no room in it to allow for negative entities to enter. So that's a really big difference. You can't be dark soul and come into the other side, for it would contaminate the other side. So you have to be purified to enter the kingdom on the other side. Okay. Well, first of all, people, I wanted to first of all apologize that I kind of got a little emotional when we were talking about pet souls because, I really do miss my cat a lot. And I really wish, she didn't pass on, but I have been trying to find another cat, and I have not had any luck finding any cat anymore. I don't know what's going on with the animal king, with the way things in the world are now, but it seems like everybody wants to adopt cats. They have these people who are trying to come up with more and more draconian policies. It makes it harder and harder for a person to meet the requirements to adopt a pet, and I'm really getting very disenfranchised with that. And so I'm going to ask you, the audience, if you know anybody who I'm looking for a tiger cat. I'm looking for a female tiger cat. She does not have to be a kitten. She could be an older cat. Preferably one that gets along with other cats. Because I have a, fame cat. Big white and brown cat. And, because the tiger cat, the house cat, is my totem animal. As is the Bengal tiger. So I really would like to have another cat to, provide for that sense of completeness. So you can contact me at B as in boy, ICHELA 3@gmail.com and let me know what you find, and you can reach me at LUMIFINISTRA or you can call us. What is the number now? I haven't used this. 860-469-2821. If we're not there, just leave a message and we will get to you. And let us know if you have a cat. Obviously, you would have to transport the cat because we don't have a car. Of course, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Google Plus. I am also on Google Plus, but I really never used it, but because I am a member of Gmail, I probably would be also on Google Plus too. And a fuzzball I see you. He's right here. Yeah. Come here. Oh, look at this cat. Look how freaking thick and heavy his fur's gotten. Ah. He's like a big fiddle. He's like a big fiddle. And he's gotten his fur. He's got his summer fur now. Summer fur. How many cats get summer fur? Summer fur. Dun, dun, dun. Now we're getting stupid. But you know what, though? Let's be honest here. All this stuff about dark souls, light souls. I mean, maybe it would be good if sometimes we just kind of lighten up a little bit. Because it is a serious topic, yes. But I just, after I got scared the bejesus out of me with that Ghost Detect Pro software, and which turns out to be butkus anyway, I just, sometimes I just gotta lighten up. Yeah. But this is getting a little bit long, so we're going to go ahead and end this tape for now. But everybody, please don't forget to like and share. Good afternoon, everybody, or after, I should say, early evening. This is MicheleMarieDalene, North American Snow Queen. This is our second try. We actually worked on this earlier today, and what happened was it got so chaotic around here in the studio that we tried to kind of make it into a bit of a behind-the-scenes view video, but I really kind of didn't think it was very professional, and so I decided to retry it. So let me explain what we're going to talk about today. We talked briefly about this me and Lumi before. It's about reality, and that scientists are beginning to wonder if reality is more of a subjective thing, and it's kind of illusionary. What that means is that what one person sees through is their five senses. Now, we could include the sixth sense, which is spirituality, but most people don't really usually think of that as a sense. And second of all, is some people do not have a very good sixth sense and some do. So for that reason, we're going to try to focus on the five senses. These are seeing, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Now, those five senses, of course, is how we interact with the world around us. And because of this, we perceive everything through those five senses. Now, in an earlier discussion, which unfortunately kind of got lost in all the noise, I gave an example of talking about my hair color, explaining that in some light situations, for example, my hair can look, it's supposed to be pure white. I'm talking about when my hair is freshly done. Obviously, it's growing out now. But that alone makes an excellent video topic. Is if your hair is pure white, that means it reflects all light, right? So you would think that in all cases, that means that if you're in the bright sunlight versus incandescent light, your hair would still be white. Yes, but it reflects back the light that is presented to it. So, which means that in many rooms with incandescent light sources, my hair looks yellow. In the natural pure sun, my hair looks whitish blue. In the case of some artificial lighting, my hair looks green. CFLs tend to make my hair look greenish. And then we have to process out the green using the tint control on the camera. Now, all of this changes the way how we interact with the world. And it's the same thing with what we hear. Some people, for example, enjoy certain music, and they, see the way music is played, the whole environment. It's a holistic thing. It's not just one piece. Now, last night I had a chance to experience altering of realities, because I was half asleep with Lumi, and we both kind of woke up, semi-woke, and we found out that we were looking at this very strange situation. Straight ahead of my bedroom, straight ahead of my bed, there was a forest. And yes, there were birds chirping, and there was a small brook, meandering brook running by, okay? And you could smell the pine needles and things like that. It really, really was a nice place. However, you could still see a little vestige of the street light coming through the window in the rear on the wall. So I knew that in essence it was still part of my bedroom. In other words, the two are overlaid. The forest is overlaying the everyday reality that we see every day. Then I happened to turn my head just a tiny bit, and the forest turned into a seascape. Now I could hear the waves crashing against the shore, the seagulls, the taste of salt in the air, and then the next thing you know, I decided to twist my head to another direction, and all of a sudden I'm looking at a small city at night while the lights are on and some small cars driving by, kind of similar to Winstead actually. And then I said, so I tilt my head back the other way, and I was able to see the other two vestiges I saw earlier. So I said to Lumi, I don't get it. She says, you're looking at the locus of reality. I said, locus of reality. This is what the scientists on the Science Channel are saying, is that reality is an illusion. You're seeing right through that illusion. You're seeing as it really is. So, in other words, the realities that we see around us are illusionary. Because somebody who, for example, is totally blind would have a whole completely different sense of what's around them than a person who has sight. But yet, okay, but doesn't that mean that there has to be some kind of consensus of what reality is? Now, I was using an example earlier about the rules of the road, and it's a good example. If you get into your car, okay, you and your other drivers on the road, say a highway system, have to have an understanding of how to drive the car, when to make a right turn, when to make a left turn, which lanes are passing lanes, and things like that. It's the same with reality. We have what we call rules of the road in reality, okay? Although, like the traffic laws, they're a lot harder to pinpoint the rules of reality. So let's try to figure out a couple. Number one, we have what we call courtesies, okay? Number one, for example, we all know we have to eat. We all know we have to sleep. We all know we have to excrete. And we all know that many of us choose to breed. So therefore, we have social cues and norms that we use. But, on the other hand, since reality is a relative thing, not everybody sees the world the same way. which sometimes leads to problems with understanding and realization of what reality is. And the reason it's hard to explain reality is it's so subjective. I watched it. I understood what that dream was trying, or what I was experiencing last night. I understood it instinctually, okay? But to explain it and trying to explain, what we consider normalcy, what's not normalcy, is like trying to explain calculus to a child. I mean, it's just something pre-calculus. It's so difficult to explain to me. But I understand it instinctually. And I'm going to share this with you because there's a lot of confusion on this. We're going to focus on, this is called, it says here, a dimension is a state of consciousness. Indigos are born in the indigo or blue ray of incarnation and evolution, but into 3D bodies with their consciousness firmly in the 4th or 5th dimension. Crystal is born with a consciousness in the 6th dimension. Alright. Now, we talked about reality. Well, now we're going to talk about another level of reality. But hopefully I can save my ass. Okay, now, we talk about the 3rd dimension. Now, this is a big chart. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. We're going to start with the 3rd dimension and work our way up. Okay? The 3rd dimension of space. Awareness of point, line, width, and breadth. That's how thick the line is. Height and volume. Human beings in higher animal kingdom resonate in this level. Awareness of oneself as a separate and unique individual. Very little awareness of the interconnectedness of beings and actions. The 3rd dimension is locked in a time-space and cause and effect paradigm through the individual human souls. As humans, we have the ability to remember the past and the future while remaining aware of the present. However, while using only our 3rd dimensional consciousness, much of our past remains forgotten in our unconscious mind, and we usually feel a sense of separation from the whole. A feeling of limitation in achieving our desires and a need to work hard to accomplish our goals. Okay. Now, I got a feeling I'm going to be interrupted again. Oh, please. Now, then we go in, this chart goes into a lot. Now, people talk about the 5th and the 6th dimension. I'm going to talk more about the 9th, but I also, to talk about the 9th, we have to talk about the 8th and the 7th dimension, because I'm in 9th level. So, I think we need to focus on that briefly, just so we understand what it is. The 7th dimension, actually, why don't we start 6th? The crystal child or magical child, crystal consciousness, has access to magical and spiritual aspects and a playfulness of life. Life is seen as a magical and blessed. All life is directed and advanced through the work of spirit. The person of the 6th dimension surrenders to the flow of the spirit's evolution while exercising the right to be a creator on an individual level. Okay, in other words, we can create things, and that kind of works out really well with reality, because we create our own realities. We don't necessarily, we have the rules of the road, but we also are uniquely self-creating. The 7th dimension is fully aware of the nature of the spirit spirited mission of the being, Christian adult, crystal adult, ready to take on a planetary mission as a carer of higher dimensions consciousness of to others, for example through teaching and healing on a big scale, or carrying energy in one's aura so that others can access on a big scale. I do that through these videos. Okay? The 8th dimension is the archetypal level of consciousness, when the person has full control over the story of life on Earth. The 9th, that's the 8th. The 9th, they put them two together because you'll notice that one of my late friends pointed out that I have long ago transcended from the 5th all the way up to the 9th, but it was at the time it was still pretty new. She mentioned that I was able to reach a level of the 11th at points, but that's pretty rare. The 9th level, just so you understand this, full cosmic consciousness has full responsibility for stewardship of the planet. The 9th dimension incorporates the 8th. Of course it makes sense when you think about it, because I'm a North American snow queen, and I am a weather stewardess. That's my job. So yeah, it does make sense when we talk about consciousness. But we also brings up a very interesting way of looking at reality. Are we getting there? Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so let's see now if I can try to bring this back into earlier. A 9th level consciousness, when trying to work with people who are still stuck in maybe 3rd dimension or 4th dimension, because 4th dimension is time, we are as difficult for them to understand, like I said, as calculus is to a toddler. Try to explain to a baby what calculus is, and they will never understand. Try to explain to a cat or a dog what life is. They won't understand you at all. I mean, try to explain them good and bad. They only understand it on a simple level. But the point is that a Earth planetary stewardess, in my case, weather, okay, and I only work 1 season out of the year. I don't work 2 seasons. Mother has never asked me to do autumn. Sherry Heaton asked me if I would be willing to do autumn if need came up for it. Mother never asked me about autumn, but she had told me that there has always been a hard time finding people for autumn, because most people like spring, and more people like summer than spring, but spring and summer seem to be the most popular. So it's easy for her to find qualified candidates for spring and summer, but for autumn, not so much. And that's the problem. If you can't, but she knows I don't want to do autumn. She knows I love winter, and that's why I do what I do in the wintertime. But that also means that, I have to face, same 9 months out of the year like everybody else does, or I don't really feel too comfortable in my season. Like I said, this video is going to be very hard to explain this, but I will try to just tell you that I can understand it instinctually. I understand exactly what I'm trying to say, but trying to understand it emotionally and mentally in my heart, and trying to explain it into the open means is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing on the 7th dimensional level. So you see, you got understanding what you're feeling, and then reaching out there and teaching other people. There's not too many 7th dimensional people out there who can take out the time and say, okay guys, look, here's how it all works. a lot of the time, um, I mean, because some of the stuff is to me is so, it's like, I understand it instinctually really well, but to try to put it into something that's so abstract for so many into a language that those many people could understand and not lose the meaning of the message is very difficult at best. But I would love to hear from you. So please, do me a favor. Let me know if there's any particular questions you would like to know. I will do my best to answer them. And I'm sorry that this video isn't really as polished as I wish it was. I do try, but as I said, the locus of reality is a very difficult thing to explain. To a ninth level consciousness, I understand it, but trying to explain it to the public is like just really difficult. So anyway, here's how you reach me. For those of you who are watching this through non-YouTube channel and you want to get to my YouTube page, it's easy. It's http://www.youtube.com/user/BICHELA4. If you want to send me email with your questions or whatever, it's easy. It's BICHELA3@gmail.com. And yes, I am on Google Plus, so you can reach me there as well. And I'm on Facebook. So, and I'm also on Reddit. And I'm on MySpace. And I'm on Blogger. And like I explained earlier to another video to Sherry Heaton, I am on at least 5 or 6 social sites. I'm on Orchid. I'm on Pinterest. So there's no reason why you can't reach me. And don't forget, even when I screw up, I still will keep trying to reach out to you. And even if I mess up, it doesn't. By the way, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. If you misunderstood something or you fail to prove a point, that's actually a very common thing. And as I said, I have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of material. And plus, there's even more tons and tons and tons and tons of videos on the internet. I can't read it all. I'm still trying to. Okay, so maybe my example of reality, the locus of reality, may be a little incorrect, but I'll work on it somewhere. Okay, I promise you that. And you can do me a favor and ask me questions. If you ask me questions, maybe I can explain it better if the questions are being asked instead of just me trying to explain everything. So ask the questions, I'll look at the questions, I'll think about the questions, and then I'll come back with an answer. Okay? Now, you have a nice night, guys. Oh, don't forget, Tuesday I'm going to be getting my hair done. So, I will look a lot better after Tuesday. And we are going to be celebrating on September 22nd. Will be Mabon, which is the beginning of autumn. Yay! And don't forget that we will also be a part of, and I'm just going to tell you this now ahead of time, unless it changes. December 21st, 2013 is going to be on a Saturday. And I will be at the Open Door Soup Kitchen on a Saturday because it is the second Saturday of the month of December. And I will be making a state appearance that day. So you'll get a chance to see me as I am dressed for the winter holidays of Yule. So we'll see each other there also. And don't forget to check out Lumi's channel too. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I really need you. Please. Would you like to give honors? Yes, I would love to. First of all, if you want to reach me, it's LUMIFINIST gmail.com. And we have a tiny URL so you can access my channel. It is http://LUMIURL.COM/LUMISTRA. And there you can reach my channel through that site, which makes it a lot easier. And if you're watching a Michelle's channel, you can go right to my channel. Just go to the About, and you'll see that there's a link to go to my channel on Michelle's channel. Michelle put that in case you needed to find another way to get to the channel. Please check it out, subscribe, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah. And of course, I'm going to let you go, guys, because it's getting hot. You know, these lamps throw a lot of heat out in here, and we forgot to open the window again. No kidding, it's hot in here. Alright, so, see you tomorrow, guys. Bye. Good afternoon. Actually, I should say good morning. It's the 24th of March, it is 2013. Helen had me tell you is I'm pretty much getting back into my normal spring, summer, and autumn nocturnal sleeping patterns. And most people find that kind of bizarre. Well, I don't think it's bizarre. Actually, I find it to be kind of comfortable old friend. Which is like in the summertime, I sleep in the day and I'm awake at night. In the wintertime, I transition to where I can sleep either one, but usually I sleep at night and I'm awake in the day. And so you can tell it's dark outside because obviously there's no light coming into the window right now. According to the National Weather Service extended forecast in the Weather Channel, it says that by April 1st of 2013, temperature high will be 10 degrees Celsius here in Connecticut. So we'll have to see how it goes from there. You know, me and Lumi have done many videos with you, and we're always been open for new and improved topics, and we don't really always come up with a good topic, and sometimes it makes us kind of frustrated too, because here we are. It is the 21st century. We have all this wonderful technology that allows us to get out there and to talk to all of you and to share information with you. Me and Lumi said last time that we were going to talk about life on the other side, and we never really got a chance to really talk about it. So let's see if we can try to do something with this. The other side, first of all, is where Mother God and Father God live. This is a very beautiful place. It's in another dimensional plane. It is a land that is rich and beautiful. The true place with milk and honey, if you will. This is, everybody is happy. It's kind of like, you have your own home. You have the wonderful access to beautiful, gardens and everything. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I have to tell you that I have visited the other side with Lumi many times. We often love to go to the Hall of Wisdom. We love going to and studying the Akasha records. So we love studying the scrolls through our astral travels. And sometimes Lumi will spend time there just digging up information, maybe little things that we could use in our own current lives. And that's something your spirit guide can do. And Lumi is not technically a spirit guide. Mother Asna is our spirit guide. But the point is that when you go see outside through your astral travels, you learn so much. You can grow in so many ways. It just gives you an opportunity to feel. And everybody goes home to the other side at night when they go to sleep. I don't think Dark Souls do, but, well, we're talking about the not Dark Souls here. me and Lumi spend a lot of times on the other side. We spend a lot of time just enjoying visiting our friends and family, and they often ask us questions like, "What? How are you doing on Earth? How are you doing at Earth University? I mean, what courses of study are you taking?" Because people don't realize that when you're on Earth here, this is like a university. You know, you live on campus. You learn new things. You know, and of course you got your partiers and your equivalent of your frat houses and things like that too. But the main thing is we come here to do is to learn and to grow, and that's what makes Earth such a fantastically interesting place. Everybody thinks Earth is a drudge. I used to think elementary school was a drudge until I realized that really I was looking at it all wrong, which is that Earth is not a drudge. I thought this is the one time on Earth in the world that you're ever going to get a chance to actually learn something without some, hardcore rules that really may not limit you. Once you get to be an adult, when you get to be an adult, you'll find out, for example, that you think school is bad because there's teachers constantly telling you what you got to do. But the truth is once you get to be an adult, there is no teachers telling you what to do, but rather you're more like equals to your teachers. Your teachers could be your friends that you have known for years, or the man you just met down the street. And we learn things as we go. For example, I have a friend. I'll consider him a friend. I really don't know him intimately well, but might as well I'll call him a friend anyway. His name is Bill. And he said to me, he says, "I've learned a lot from you." He says, "I've learned patience. I've learned dignity. I've learned decency. I've learned integrity." And he says, and the landlord has too. He told me the same thing because he works for the landlord. That he loves the way you handle yourself and how you carry yourself. And I told Bill nicely, I said, "Bill, when you've been on this there 22 times in a row, you kind of start to develop a bit of an understanding of how it all works. It doesn't mean that you're always not going to flop. It doesn't mean that you're not going to fail every now and then. 22 years of experience, plus I have a beautiful, loving twin soul that I share this body with. And I'll tell you something. I never am truly alone, and I have always been very happy to say that. Because me with Lumi and I, okay, we're not going to be discussing Lumi's situation here now because we're going to be discussing that on Beltane. But we will just briefly say this much. Like I said in my last Beltane when we talked about my situation, or Lumi did. Michelle I was a mess up. I mean, I felt alone, destitute, like I lost everything I had. And I was starting to stifle my growth because I wasn't able to progress any further. Or at least I didn't feel I could. And Mother God, especially, Father God too, but Father God is more like the maintenance man. He kind of just keeps the universe running. Mother God is normally the one who works with you directly to help you to understand, or to, it chooses to interact with everybody. But Father God usually interacts with very few people. He likes to quietly do things in the background. He kind of reminds me of the last maintenance guy we had here in some ways. He's a man of few words, but when he does speak, you should listen. That's what way Father God is. But Mother God is much more willing to take the time to work with everyone and to help them to grow and mature. So, it's hot. No kidding. People think just because, we Judeo-Christian teachings say the Mother God does not exist. Mother God is the most important thing. You should understand the concept of it. When we say the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, who is that Holy Spirit? That's Mother God. And Mother God is always there in your life and is always trying to watch out for your well-being. And currently, Mother God has only got 10 charges under her watchful eye. Me and Lumi are one of them. Two of them. So there's 8 other people that she works with. She has found special favor in so many wonderful people. She's so proud of all of you. And the thing is that Mother God wants us all to know that you don't have to worry about if you screw up, because Mother God will always be there to help you along. But there's a catch. You have to be willing to accept her offers of help. If you aren't going to do that, well then, that's your own fault. Like Jimmy Buffett sings, it's my own damn fault. It's nobody else's. Mother will always be there trying to, always quietly, and she's a very patient person, and she's always going to put you, under her watchful eye. When she's busy, you also have your guardian angel. And she got her thrones, and they all go out there and they watch over you to make sure that you're staying out of trouble. Because she knows Earth University has got some pretty, rough neighborhoods, and that there are things in this earth that you probably would be best to be warned to stay away from. That doesn't mean she's going to push you away if you go to do something bad or something. She's going to let you do what you're going to do because she knows you have to do that because that's part of your growing and your maturity. So, that's the one thing about Mother God, is the fact is that Mother Asna, that's her name, Asna. And by the way, the actual pronunciation from Israeli or Hebrew is Asherah. And all of a sudden, when I heard the spelling Asherah, I kind of started to laugh because the way it's spelled is Ashera. Remember Shira, warrior princess? And I started thinking about the relationship of this cartoon series with Mother God. I'm not trying to make fun of you, Mother Asna. I'm not. I'm serious here. I mean, I always respected Mother God, and I always respected the character Shira as well. So, I mean, I see some of the advice that I see in the cartoon by, Filmation there, the Shira cartoon series. I see a lot of that in the cartoons. It's actually a lot of the same advice that Mother Asna would pass along to everybody. I remember watching the episode where she and Hordak were kind of sent to another dimension. And Hordak was so desperate to hurry up and get out of there, and he was going to an animal was a challenge was placed in front of them to see who was the little animal that was supposed to be hurt. Okay, and Hordak saying is, do nothing, let's go. And no, Shira says, no, I'm going to help this creature. And so she helped this creature. And what the thing that was funny is that this person that brought them to this other dimension said to her and to Hordak is, I am amazed at how you have shown compassion, decency, even when you didn't have to do that. That even now, even for this man Hordak, who is your sworn enemy, that you're willing to give up your ticket home when he lost his ticket. I am impressed by your actions. But you know what? Mother Asna does the same thing. She's so joyful when you do things to help other people. And you don't benefit anything, do you? Wrong, you do. You benefit because you're showing your true colors. It's another thing like that Cyndi Lauper talks about. True colors. That's what I love about you. When you show who you are, and when you show what you're good at doing, and even if it means showing your soft underside, it's okay. No one's gonna, sure, some people are gonna take advantage of that, they always do, but then what? In the long run, don't you think that Mother Asna is gonna make sure that they get their just desserts? You can be sure that there's many people in this world who are going to always remember you. And when you finally go home, you start to understand more of what you are. When you're on your I wouldn't call it deathbed because you're only not dying. It's more like you're parking your body in its garage for the last time. And you're getting out of the body. And you pat the body goodbye and say, well, flesh and blood, you've done me many good things. But now me and Lumi are going to cross to that tunnel home. And me and Lumi have already planned, and we are very excited about that opportunity of going home. But we have to finish our time here first. And nobody knows how long that's going to be. We could be here for another 30 years. We could be here for another 10 minutes. I can't tell you that answer. But it's in my Akasha records. It's in Mother Asna knows it all. After all, Mother Asna is not only my spirit guide and Lumi's spirit guide, she's also Mother God. And Mother God, I can tell you right now, I can sense the joy in her heart when she hears the way I'm talking about this. The fact of the matter is that it's okay for you to love Mother God. Mother God wants you to love her. And she wants you to know that she's out there looking for you towards your best education. And she wants you to know that you're never alone. Everybody has a spirit guide, and everybody can benefit from the knowledge of the spirit guide, can share with them, if they choose to listen. Again, that's the thing, a choice. You can either choose to listen, or you can choose to go it alone. Your spirit guide is patient, but that doesn't mean that they don't get quick to anger, because they do get angry. And sometimes they will give you an earful. But most of the time, your spirit guide already knows your life chart and knows all the things that you're going to do, and they know all the things that you're going to see and all the things you're going to say. And sometimes they're just there, just like a co-pilot or a map reader and for the driver, telling them to watch out for certain pitfalls and certain potholes. But they're not going to go out there and take the seals to control the wheel and try to swerve you out of the way. It's not their job. And now, on the other hand, now, maybe I shouldn't yell like that because it makes you a little nervous. I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to say it softly. Now, that's much better. Now, I was going to say is as far as what we and Lumi do here on YouTube, I want to make sure you understand one thing. Me and Lumi are very special, very unique. But we're here to do the same job as every other enlightened soul is. We're here to show you the way. We're trying to show you that you're not alone and that there is a divine purpose for everything in this world. You don't have to worry about being alone. That is the one thing I think that scares more people than anything. The whole idea is, oh my God, especially when you're a little child and it's a dark room at night and you didn't turn the night light on and you're scared. It's like, I'm alone. Where is everybody? Mommy and Daddy are sleeping in their room and sister's in her bed and I'm alone. There's no one around me. First of all, that's a lot of adults that feel the same way. But you know what? You're not alone, because if you truly were alone, you would never feel that sense of loss, because you would never have a reason to feel a sense of loss. Mother Asna loves you. I love you. Lumi loves you. Father God loves you. I may not know you personally, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you. And when we go home, you will meet. We will meet all of you. We'll meet. Maybe we'll meet in the Great Garden. We'll all get a chance to talk to each other. And we'll come home and we'll laugh at the things that we experienced on Earth and all the things that we did individually and as a collectively group. As a group. There's nobody in this world that is any more perfect than anyone else. There are some people who have more knowledge than others, but you know what? That doesn't mean everybody's stupid. There are some very intelligent people in this world. And there are some people who have interests in things that don't interest me, but that's okay. When we get together, we can share and learn new things. Now, the next few months, next 9 months, there'll be a time for me to basically, I'll be just like everybody else in a sense. Yes, me and Lumi will continue to snuggle and make love to each other. And yes, you and I will continue to travel this life path together to learn new things. And I will continue to be there to guide you as best I can. That's what I promised Mother Asna I'd do, and that's what I'm doing. I believe that knowledge is fundamentally essential. Learning is fundamentally essential. What does that mean? Learning is fundamentally essential means that we come here to Earth because it's a strong desire in our psyche to learn, to expand our knowledge, to grow. And for those people who do not want the desire to learn, and those who choose to stay stuck in that lack of knowledge, their ignorance, they experience spiritual death. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't think of any nice little short acronym for that, but the closest thing I can come with doesn't edgically advance, but then the TH I couldn't think of. Their heart, their humanity. Actually, I like that one. Does not enhance, advance. It does not educationally advance their humanity. And that's what death is. Death is just like that. It's just when you have, basically you sit there. It's like you're paying to go to college, and all you do is you sit there in the frat house and drinking beer, and you're smoking joints, and you're not doing anything else, and you're just wasting your time. That's not learning, okay? Actually, it is. You're still learning there, too. It's just that it's not learning something that may be necessarily in your life chart. I talk about life charts a lot, don't I? What is a life chart? A life chart is before we come here, we all make a map of what we want to learn. It's like a goal plan, or it goes a lot more advanced than a goal plan does. A goal plan only covers for, say, like short-term and maybe a long-term goal. A life chart covers everything from the day we pop out of our mom to the day we're placed in the grave. We are going to be studying and learning these new talents and skills. Maybe to improve on a technique we learned in our last life. Maybe we choose to learn something completely different. Our spirit guides know our life chart because they have access to it. We can't, and they're sworn not to tell us nothing besides the things that we need to know. Because there's something called free will. I mean, you have to remember that, yes, we have a life chart. Yes, it's just like a map. But how many times has someone taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque and ended up getting stuck in the Sierra Nevadas? What I'm trying to get at is that we learn new things because we're allowed to take that wrong turn at Albuquerque. It doesn't mean that we're bad people. But don't forget, once you go home, once you're done with this course, you go home. Your spiritual advisor is going to sit down with you at the orientation center, and they're going to say, "I'm going to ask you some questions." In my case, let's say me, Michelle, did you learn what you wanted to learn today? Did you learn the things that you needed to learn? Do you think you did a good job? Because it'll refresh you with what your life chart said, what you were supposed to learn. And based on that, what we study, me and my advisor, and remember, Lumi was originally my spirit guide, so Lumi would also be serving in that spiritual guide role for the time period prior to the month of May of 2010. And we will be sitting down with Mother Asna, who is our current spirit guide, and we're going to be discussing all these things that we learned. Can I say something, please? Sure. Mother Asna has been working with me and Michelle since Michelle was. Yes, hello, Mary Mitch, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and today, of course, is Wednesday. It is the 11th of October, and the temperatures in the next few days are going to be cooling down nicely. You're going to be seeing temperatures in the upper teens in the Celsius ranges. You can't wait to see the upper teens in the Fahrenheits. That'd be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Those of you Fahrenheiters out there. Today I wanted to talk to you about just basically everything. Well, we'll keep it short anyway. I don't want to go too long, do we? First of all, let's start with the fact that my channel has become more popular. We have 195 subscribers. We are 5 short of our goal of the big 200. So if you guys know anybody who would like to join the channel, it's very easy. You see at the bottom of the screen here, in the lower right hand corner, it says subscribe NASU. Click on that. Make sure you click on the bell to receive notifications of any new videos that come up. Also, Lumi wants me to remind you to subscribe to her channel. It's really easy. Her channel is http://www.youtube.com/USCR/LUMIFINISTRA. And again, just subscribe to her channel, and then you'll always see any new videos that Lumi does. Lumi does a lot of videos on things, spirituality topics. Sometimes we'll work as great set of bookends, so if you have me, you have her, you get a pretty well-rounded education. Lately we've been talking a little bit about Sherry Heaton, Love. Heaton is her maiden name. Her married name is Love, Love. About being on my videos again for Sunday. It is in negotiations. However, I wanted to personally explain very shortly my concerns about that, and if you know my channel and the way this channel was intended to be, you would understand the reason I have my trepidations. Sherry is definitely not, does not use language that's appropriate for children. This channel is oriented to be a bit accessible to all ages. It's a family-oriented channel. This means that we would prefer to keep all dialogue appropriate for families. So the question is how can I get Sherry to respect that and not exceed our boundaries that we have set ourselves as our channel's objectives? If you have any suggestions, let me know. Sherry will supposedly be meeting us on Google Hangouts on air like Dory was last week, because of easier. That way I won't have to get in her face, literally in her face, and so she can't read the questions. So she'll be able to read the questions from her cell phone as well. So it makes it easier. Let's see. Okay, the premonition. I wanted to talk about that, and somebody asked me as how often do my premonitions come true. I honestly don't know. I never actually kept score. More than often, when I have bad juju vibes, it usually means that it seems like it's more than likely it's going to come true. That was very, very realistic, full color, full sound, high HD color, HD video, HD sound. I mean, it was almost like I was sitting right there in the baseball park with my brother. So it was pretty doggone precise. And then here's the funny thing. I'm not the kind of person who sits at a World Series game, because I don't really like sports. Okay, it's so weird. Or maybe I was looking at the game through his eyes. I don't know. Anyway, the point was it was quite fascinating to see what happened. There's so many precise conditions that must apply. Number one, the New York Mets and the Boston Red Sox would have to be playing in the World Series. Number two, the game would have to be in Fenway Park. Number three, it appears the game is a day game. Okay? And that means that all those conditions must be true for that condition to be true. So that's pretty precise conditions. So we'll have to see what happens. And we could talk about death. You know, one of the psalmists said, "Death, where is thy sting?" Well, basically, here's what it works with death. When you die, you're not dead. Okay, let me cover that a bit on her channel on reincarnation, a video that Toy Talkers wanted to cover. So, Toy Talkers, go to Lumi's channel. Your video on reincarnation is now online. You can check it out yourself. It's not that long. It covers a little more than just reincarnation. It also talks about salvation, and it also discusses the Black Lives Matter thing. Some of you asked about that and Lumi's interpretation of it. And also, we discuss why we will not kneel to the flag, because to us, kneeling to the flag is making the flag into a god. Now, I know as some people explained last night, that's not what it means. Well, okay, but still, let's make sure we understand one thing here. Some people do take it that way. Okay? No more than I stand for the presence of the Eucharistic host in the Mass. I kneel, or if I am not near a kneeler, I will basically prostrate myself on the floor. Seriously, I will do that. It's really important to remember that there are people's faith systems. They're all different, and so if you found that kind of a little bit bizarre, that's okay. That's just the way me. And let me see, she's evangelical Lutheran. I am Roman Catholic, so yeah, we got that a little bit under the bag too. So, you know, because she grew up in the Finnish state churches, and that's what she believes in. We're gonna be honest here and say that it's an interesting combination, because originally when I was born and raised, originally I was a Lutheran child myself, and of course I didn't feel comfortable in the Lutheran church. So I left that church, went through RCIA, and became Catholic. And that was a long time ago. How many years ago was it? It was a long time ago. I think it was 1994 or 1993. A long time. I've always wanted to be a Catholic child, so it was just so easy to do. It just took a lot of training and study. The priest I was working with did a one-on-one with me, because he realized that I knew more about the Bible than most people do, and I understood exactly what the meaning of the sacraments were and everything. So I got what is typically among Catholic converts would be like a 6 months to a year course. I got it done in less than 2 months. Less than 2 months. Holy cow. That was a really, really big thing, and I was really excited about that I aced the course. And here's the thing: it was Father Leon Restuccia's only catechumen. Well, actually, and that was totally amazing for him. Before he retired, he entered the priesthood as an associate priest, and he never, ever had that pleasure of having a catechumen and actually anointing the catechumen with the blessings of the oil and the chrism. And the prayer. That was totally awesome for him. And Father Anthony was also proud of him at the time. So it was a wonderful time all those years ago. And I still remember standing in front of the sanctuary of the church, looking out at the whole congregation. It was a Saturday night. And it was like, I just was like, oh my God, I was like, I couldn't believe this. This is really true. I am in the front of the entire Roman Catholic parish, looking out at all the many, many faces. It was beautiful. And then, of course, and I gave my profession of faith, and the whole church just busted out in applause, and it was totally amazing. I now kind of know what it feels like to be a celebrity, because there were people standing at ovation. It was totally crazy, and I remember that so well. I never had experienced it ever before, and I never experienced that since. And I must say that was one wonderful time for me, spiritually as well. I know that Mother and Father God were watching me. I know that, my guardian angel, Lumi at the time was my guardian, my spirit guide was watching me. And I know that there was so much energy in that room. It was just unbelievable. And of course, I still live my faith, even if I don't always go to Mass every day. And here's the irony. Where is my church? Right there. That's where I take my profession of faith. That's where I completed my RCIA training. And that's why the soup kitchen is special to me, because it's right next to my church. So I always know that when I come here, if I ever want to go in and, and go to see Christ in the, the church on the Christ, on the cross, he's right there. Of course, I also am sitting in front of an evangelical Episcopal cross right here. Another reason why I'm always here at this table is because I know that this cross, even though it's very Protestant-like, it doesn't matter. It's just, it means something very important to me. It's just like the situation with the United States flag. We know that Christ didn't actually die on this piece of wood over here, on this one, but he died on Golgotha and on Calvary. But still, it means just like the American flag does. It represents his death and passion, and how much he was willing to give up for our sins. And that's what makes this so special. Okay, it's running long. I didn't mean to get this long. I know you guys hate 12 minutes and 7 seconds long. So, well, here's the deal. We're going to cover a lot this weekend. And I would definitely be more than willing to talk about my experience during that time of my receiving the blessings. I'd be more than willing to talk about that. That was just crazily awesome. But since that time, my life has been pretty good. I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. No one's life is perfect. But I've had a wonderful time. It's funny because originally I started my equivalent of my catechism in the Lutheran Church as a kid, and I never finished it because I thought I thought the way that the catechism of the Lutheran Church was so wrong. It was so uncomfortable to me. So what was nice is Father Leon Restuccia, by the way, was able to build upon the Lutheran Catechism and helped me to untangle some of the things that I knew deep down in my hurt faith were not correct. So it was just a wonderful thing, and I never had a problem with it. I also learned, because we were also going to congregational churches, Presbyterian churches, non-denominational churches, Baptist churches, whatever, is that one of the most important things is that people find God in all kinds of ways. And it doesn't matter if others don't like how you find God. Some people may find God by looking at the clouds in the sky. Some people may find God by looking at the universe and all its celestial mechanics. Some may find God by looking into the eyes of people they see every day. Some people may find God in looking at the cracks in the highway. Who knows? Everybody's uniquely tuned to this higher plane in their own way. So, and that's the reason why it's important to keep all those people's feelings in perspective, because their ways no worse or no better than your way. It's just the way that they see God, and they see the faith systems of the world. All right, so for now, hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye. Hi guys, it's me, and today of course is the 28th of the month of June, and it is soon. June will be over, and of course we will be going into other times of the year. I'm trying to make this like where I want it here. Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about a couple different things, and the first is to remind you that the contest to meet up with me is on, and here's what you need to do. You have to get your entry in by July 4th at midnight Eastern time. Now that's the requirement. So you got a few days left. In short, here's the requirement. Number one, you can ask me your sample question. Okay. The sample question is to give me an idea of just what kind of materials you want to discuss. Each entrant, okay, well, their sample question will be reviewed, and if I can, I will answer them on or in a reply to your video or into your question. And the person obviously has to leave the first name and a phone number that I can reach you at. On the 5th of July, me and Lumi will go through and look at the entrants, and based on your questions, we will select one person. At this point, this contest is only open to American people in the continental U.S. However, in the future, we may also consider expanding to international contest calls right now. Obviously, you have two choices. If you're in the local area of Winstead, we could actually meet in person and do a video in person. Or, if you're not local, we can do a telephone interview. And those are the 2 ways we can interview each other. This will be the first time that I ever did a telephone interview with anybody. So there might be some mites to nail down as we go through the work. So basically, as I said, you need to be able to speak American or British English. You need to be an American citizen. You need to send me a sample question. And you need to send me your first name. You do not need to send me your last name. And a telephone number, if you're in the United States, with a full number with the area code, please. And if you don't have a working voicemail system, hopefully you will be around when I call you. If you are not around, or if you don't tell me when you're there and I try to call you, there's no answer, I will try 2 more times. If I can't get through, then I'll select the next contestant on the list. Sorry guys, it's just the way it has to go sometimes. Um, as I said, it's open to anybody. Now, today we're going to talk about other things as well. Of course, it's been hot. It's been warm, tepid. It's certainly tepid today. It's was about 27, 28 degrees. It's actually not overall that bad. It's just that Mother Usna, who is acting as the summer stewardess, has decided to slowly, gradually turn up the thermostat to warmer settings, as she's been, appreciated the fact that I maintain the colder temperatures as my temporary stint as the spring stewardess. Of course, my main season is winter, and so winter is really what I like to focus on. So what I said in the weather about being practice weather safety for summer certainly applies. Is it will be getting up to about 31 degrees in the next few days. Now, of course, on Thursday I'm going to be getting my hair redone as well, so I will look better. And what else? What are you going to talk about? Karma and dogma. Yes, we are. That is the main topic for today, is karma, and briefly we're going to talk about dogma, only because it's a good topic, because we've seen plenty of that locally about karma here in Winsted. So let's start basically, what is karma? Well, the concept of karma is actually an old Eastern concept discussed in the from India, was talked about in the Vedas, the divine Vedas, but it's also referred to in the Egyptian mythology as well. Basically, is every person has a heart, and the heart is either is full of good or full of bad. Bad people, for example, do wrong and do bad things to good people, or even all the bad people. Well, according to the concept of well, I'm going to try to bring this into the 21st century, so if I screw this up, please bear with me, okay? According to the way nature works, it cannot always be bad. There has to be a balancing of the books, if you will. So people, for example, who have good karma, okay, are lighter than people with bad karma, tying it into the Egyptian concept. And so when they put your heart on the scale, if it is supposedly lighter than, I think, a feather or some other type of very light object, you are said to go to heaven and you are complete. And then if your heart is heavier than a feather, then I think it's this Dog Star series gets to chew you up and your heart up, and you're doomed forever to eternity. That sounds like something like hell in the case of the Satan and the devil. I'm going to just briefly say that that's one interpretation of the result of good and bad karma. Now, the 21st century version of karma comes from an expression called "what goes around comes around," also from the golden rule: do unto others as you would like to have be done unto you. What Jesus in particular in this case was talking about is that you probably want to be treated well, and so you're expected to treat others well, and based on that, you will be the favor will be returned to you, which is kind of related to the rule of rarity in addition, which also discusses karma, which says 3 times you give, 3 times you shall receive. In other words, actually, what you give, you shall receive thrice, meaning that if you do good, 3 times the good, either 3 to individual good deeds, or maybe 3 times the bounty will be returned to you. For example, if you give, for example, a poor man a meal, somebody may decide to help you in the future and give you 3 meals. Doesn't mean that they're going to feed you all at one time 3 meals, but it means that You will be rewarded for your good deeds. Also, this is the reason why we don't do curses, is that the same rule applies. If you do wrong to somebody, that you will be treated 3 times bad for all the bad you do. So if you, for example, wish somebody to die, you will suffer possibly 3 times the severity or 3 times the number of deaths in your life. So for that reason, we try not to do evil, because evil means that we're going to get our just desserts, as the expression says. Now, in some cultures, we try to enforce good karma through dogma. Dogma is the rigid systems of things such as religion, and sometimes it's the rigidity of this structure kind of pushes some people who are not quite a conforming group to choose to rebel against the rigidity of structures of dogma. That's why this tagline comes from, sorry, my karma ran over your dogma. Means that my karma, my heart, is more important than and bigger than dogma, or some stringent, strict, regimented rules of guidance that was set down, possibly say from the Quran, or the Divine Vedas, or even the Holy Bible, or even the Pentateuch or the Torah. It all basically comes down to that concept. Now, so what do you do to keep your heart as light as a feather? Keeping it with the Egyptian concept. Well, you do good. And sometimes that's hard, because in this day and age, we see like, oh, the bad guys are getting away with all this trouble, and all the good guys are suffering strongly and painfully. That's what Jesus said in the Beatitudes. Blessed are those of pure heart, for they will be the sons and daughters of God. There is no reason to do evil, or to do immoral or depravity depraved things to anybody or to yourself, because in the end, your fruits is what they will notice. They will notice who you are and how you carry yourself, and how you present yourself is going to make a big difference. Easy, right? Oh, no, not always, because like in media doesn't help. I mean, you watch television, you see all these well-to-do actors and actresses and driving around with flashy cars, and they're going out with these beautiful women or men, and they're just basically, they're living in sin, and they're doing things that are just depraved, so much depravity, and yet we embrace that. And but we must be careful, because it's our eyes is how it's how we, in this case, foresee the world around us. Our eyes can be contaminated by bad thoughts and bad feelings and bad scenes, and that's why Jesus said, if one has a bad eye, it's best for him to pluck it out. It's better to go in the one-eyed into heaven versus with 2 eyes into the fires of hell. That's what he meant by that. It's better to try to live your best life you can. But sometimes people do not do well. It's easy. So this is where we have to understand that there is a way to purify the soul, and it's not necessarily limited to just going to confession if you're Catholic, but that certainly is a wonderful tool, and I believe in it. So because I was raised as a Catholic, so I certainly going to believe in confession. But even if you don't, the other tool you have is to just talk to Mother and Father God and say, help me, I'm really kind of lost here. I'm not sure what to do. I want to fix my karma. I want to live in peace with the universe. Because people with bad karma don't live in peace with the universe. They're always making war with it. And sometimes after a while, they don't even know why they're doing it. They just do it. So like I said, the point is that karma is a very important system of checks and balances that keeps us to try to live a wholesome life. But, sometimes, like I said, people screw up. And they do bad things to other people. Don't forget, another powerful tool of fixing bad karma is to say, with sincerity, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I did that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I wasn't thinking. That's fine. If you truly believe that it's true, then the books will be put back in order by Mother and Father God through your guardian angel and, of course, your spirit guide. And you will be brought back into alignment with the universe. Well, anyway, so that's basically it for this short video. But again, please don't forget to like or dislike. Maybe you don't like the video, but if you don't, why? Tell me. And don't forget to share it with your friends. And if you have not yet subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you can be kept up to date with all new video topics. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody.